Okay, hopefully this decides to work now. God damn. So we're just gonna jump straight into this and pray that it works. Come on. There we go. There we freaking go. Okay. God, I hope that... There we go! There we go! We got it working, finally! Damn, that was a pain in the ass. Yeah, we got chat box, we got everything working now. Yeah. Okay, so clearly this thing should not be in full screen mode. So, let's get into this now. We're gonna restart our visual model now. Yeah, blame Magus. Holy fuck. Okay, here we go. The old lady's tip-off was right on the money. The counterspell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadorned braid flicked back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the mayor's magic shields, moving in closer and closer to Lord Lynx's stronghold. There were 3 of us. Kid, Majil, and me. I have no idea who the fuck Majil is. I guess it must have been 3 years already since I first met Kid. Back then, I was just a wandering musician, traveling wherever my feet can take me, and wherever a few tunes would pay for a warm bed. I was in the outlands of a town called Rajoria, where we first ran across one another. Since then, she dragged me along on a whole bunch of adventures. And misadventures, too. Yeah, I know! For a half second, yeah. Kid. She was a thief. Not just any thief. Just a few months shy of 17 and already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was achingly beautiful, stylish, a joy to be around, and a dab hand at campsite cooking. Or so she liked to claim. The truth is a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you heard about in the stories, the one who steal from the rich and give to the poor. Yeah, that wasn't Kid style. She was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, and obsessed with money. Oh, she sounds like me. Except for the lying and bossy and short-tempered thing. Just mostly the obsessed with money shit. That's hilarious. Rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. She wasn't all bad. Probably. Maybe. Sometimes. She had her moments anyway. I glanced over my shoulder to see a shadow hovering behind us, blending into the darkness like smoke. Majil. Also known as the Majil the Shade. He was Kid's partner, but even after 3 years, I hardly knew anything about him. All I knew was he was around 30 years old and not much of a chakra, but he was one heck of a mage. I heard that he and Kid started working together way before I met her. He always covered the top half of his face with a mask, and I'd never seen what he looked like underneath. He was a man so mysterious that sometimes it seemed like he was an interloper from another world. It wasn't like Kid was exactly big on details about her past, but Majil? He might as well have not had one. Kid didn't seem to know much about her partner in crime either. What kind of man was he? What kind of life he'd lived before? Nothing. You might ask how exactly I wound up being a part of this merry band, and, well, it's complicated. I guess you could say life doesn't always turn out the way you think it will. Kid, who was heading up our little raiding party, suddenly stopped dead. Look lively, boys. We've got company. Slight finds that Magus is Majil equals Guile? Ooh, hey, now that's a good theory. I like the sound of that one. That could very well be true. Of course, I have no idea. Like, I've never played Radical Dreamers at all. Sorry, I'm voraciously devouring a piece of apple. Still image upon its player, something inside me dies. Well, I mean, this is from 1996, okay? They're doing their best. We glanced around warily as cold, cruel eyes emerged from the darkness. Yeah, it was extremely limited. Like, this was Satellaview, damn it. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, shit! I heard a low growl. Dark shadows prowled through the night surrounding us. A pack of wildcats? There must have been about 10 of them. A thrill of fear ran down my spine. Flustered, I pulled my knife from my belt. Kid calmly shifted into a fighting stance. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon these buggers have been trained for rabies. The wildcat snarled and growled as they slowly closed in on us, drawing the noose tighter and tighter. Visually updated Zelda 1. Wait, there's a visually updated one that wasn't the frickin', HD remaster ROM hack? Holy shit. Their eyes glinted in the darkness like fireflies, and strings of eager spittle dripped wetly to the ground. This is, really well written. Holy fuck. Then one of them sent an almighty roar, soaring to the moon, and the hunt was on. What was I gonna do? Shit! Holy fuck, it's actually a choose yourself adventure portal. Okay, what do we do? Uh-oh. Think fast! Kid dived into the thick of the packs of wildcats. I gave the largest of the number an almighty kick in the chops. I didn't do shit, so it was timing me? The startled beast gave a yelp as it was sent flying. I turned to my right to see a nearby wildcat was charging towards me, its head lowered menacingly. Panicked, I tried to make a last-second dodge. I wasn't quite fast enough. Its claws scraped against my sides and rushed past me. Ah! I winced in pain for a moment and turned to face my foe and readied myself. Struck at it, magic, defended, ran away. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Shit! What the shit? It's timed! I heard a growl behind me and turned to see a wildcat, its body a mass of coiled muscle. It barreled straight into me, threatening to send me sprawling. Okay, so this shit's timed, so I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Damn. Apple slice for good luck. No! If I didn't think fast, I'd be left helpless. They all pounced at me at once. My legs were numb. I did my best to plant my feet as solidly as I could, but the growls of the wildcats grew louder. Pull your head out of your ass, Serge! Yelled Kid. Damn it, Kid. I don't need you to tell me this is life or death. I attacked. I slashed at a nearby wildcat with my knife. The beast tried to leap clear, but it was already too close. I felt the blade make contact and was rewarded with a screech of pain. The wildcat jumped away, this time managing to put some space between us. It's like I hadn't cut it very deeply. I stood my ground, changing my grip on the knife and waiting for another chance to attack. Serge, behind you! Panicked by Kid's warning, I whirled wildly around and came to face with a pair of eyes blazing like hellfire. Fuck you, you're not taking my happy slices. I tried to use magic. A wildcat was coming right at me. I twisted my body to avoid the attack, acting on sheer reflex. In desperation, I tried to recite a spell I only vaguely remembered. And failed to conjure up a single spark of magic. The wildcat hurled its massive body at me, twisting my shoulder awkwardly. That's gonna hurt. Ah! I was sent flying, and my body rolled as it crashed to the ground. It would be only a moment before the wildcat struck again. I tried to stagger back to my feet, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. I heard a low growl coming from right behind my head. Every hair on my body stood on end. Damn, Serge is not doing well here. I shut my eyes and prepared for the fucking stupid. But nothing came. Instead, I felt a blazing heat from overhead. Smelt the arid stink of burning flesh. I opened my eyes to see the smoldering remains of a wildcat, and standing over it, Majil. He gave me a silent nod before swiftly dispatching another foe with a blast of flames. I staggered to my feet, shaking my head into the vain attempt to dispel my dizziness. I was breathing heavily, the handle of my knife slick with sweat. I tightened my grip. With a kick like a bolt of lightning, Kid landed a clean hit on the flank of a nearby wildcat. It staggered before losing its footing, letting out a pathetic cry, but Kid had already moved in and finished it off. And then the roar of fire. A burning smell filled my nostrils, and next to me a shrill screech pierced the air. Majil's fire spout engulfed the head of a nearby wildcat. It fled, darting off into the darkness like an arrow. Well, I kind of sucked in that fight, to be honest. I scanned the area. Only moments ago we'd been surrounded, but now there wasn't a single wildcat left. I know, right? Why are they hunting in packs? Kid and Majel had either set to rinse off with their tails between their legs, or put paid to them once and for all. Put paid to them? You're dreaming if you think a bunch of flea-bitten monkeys is gonna stop us, Lynx. Kid crossed her arms and flashed a triumphant grin. Meanwhile, I was panting heavily. I felt like my legs were about to give out from under me. I collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by what I had just been through. I'd taken a few hits. I was fine otherwise. A couple of scars to talk about later, maybe, but nothing would stop me. Carrying on. Are you hurt? Majil looked down at me, his face expressionless as ever. No worries, Meg. He'll be all right, said Kid, barging in to get a better look at me. He may be a wingin' sook, but it'll take more than a few scratches to kill this one. She was nothing if not sympathetic. But she was right. This was no time to be bemoaning my lot. We hadn't even reached the manor yet. I dabbed at my wounds with a tincture-soaked cloth and wrapped them with bandages, then looked up at the other two. We're just getting started. Yeah, we're not out. We're going. We're just getting started, I grinned back, putting on a brave face on things. That's what I like to hear, Kid cheerily announced from the close quarters. But then her eyes turned cold, like the cold glow of the moon in the sky. It's gonna be a long night. I nodded, trying my hardest not to utterly lose myself in her pale blue eyes. Wow, you just fucking kiss her already. Damn, you clearly head over heels. Oh my god, Serge. Alright, let's get this show back on the road. She turned away and marched off deeper into the trees, without looking behind to see if Majil were following her. Majil, of course, was already right behind her, his unhurried gait making it seem as though nothing much had happened at all. I jumped back up to my feet to chase after him. I'd be for more trouble than I bargained for if I got separated from him. The dark forest inside the manor's perimeter seemed to go on forever, a labyrinth of trees and boulders. The manor itself loomed in the distance, glowering over the vast grounds, and hidden within was a veritable mountain of treasure just waiting for us. I'm gonna up the volume just a wee bit, because it's pretty quiet. Oh, click here, then click here. There we go. Lord Lynx was the noble who ruled the remote territory of Regoria. He was also Kid's mortal enemy. We were there that night to steal a certain jewel he kept locked away in his most closely guarded vault. The Frozen Flame. Oh! The Frozen Flame was veiled in mystery. It was said to be imbued with an uncanny energy, and possessed of a beauty and clarity that made a priceless treasure. Countless thieves had tried to steal it. Not one of them had come close to succeeding. Nor had any of them escaped the manor alive. And now it was our turn to try and sneak into this place of death. Led by a girl who had the ambition to make the impossible possible, a hunger for vengeance that drove her onward, and a desire for riches that could never be satisfied. As we pressed on through the tree-filled darkness, the shadows gave way at last, revealing the true extent of the vast mansion. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah. Nice. Finally. Say your prayers, Lynx, 'cause we're coming for ya. Keeping to the overgrowth and the shadows of the trees, we made our way around the manor walls in search of a means of entry. There should be 3 entrances. Eventually, we came to a terrace overlooking the garden. There was no sign of any guards nearby. The only thing surrounding the manor was an uncanny stillness. This will lead us straight into the west wing. Just as well, we don't have any business in the rest of the manor tonight, said Majil, gazing up at the dark building towering over us in the night. Alright then, what are we waiting for? And with that, Kid made to vault over the railing of the terrace. Stop! Majil hissed sharply. Remember what we're here for. Our main target is the vault and the frozen flame within it. We focus on this above all else. Your vengeance is of secondary concern. Agreed? Glancing over her shoulder, Kid replied with a reluctant, Yeah, don't get your knickers in a twist. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna knock that Drongo's block off. Neither you or anybody else is gonna stop me. I guess Kid was gonna get her way, whether we liked it or not.
You don't know what the frozen flame is! You don't know what the frozen flame is!
Holy shit. Okay. Frozen Flame is something we are going to see in Chrono Cross, and it's actually incredibly important to the story. Like, ridiculously important to the story. Like, it's one of the main things that the story actually, like, desperately needs. Oh, it's rhetorically... Okay, don't use fancy-ass words on me. I'm dumb. I'm dummy. Okay. Let's go, boys. The night is young. She cleared the railing with a sprightly hop and vanished inside the manor. So are you guys hearing the audio kind of like pop in and out? Like it's a little bit poppy and a little bit glitchy? Although I guess that's like Satellaview, you know? I glanced towards Majil and nodded in silence. We followed Kid's lead and were soon inside Lord Lynx's lair. The darkness swallowed us whole. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be a little intentional, like bugs or whatever. A corridor stretched off to the right and the left from the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. There's nothing right, we go left. That was the joke, I have no idea. We pressed through the darkness, down corridors that twisted and turned, snake-like, this way and that. Everything around us was still and silent, and it felt strangely like we were being watched, as if there was countless eyes staring silently from the shadows, looking on with curiosity and pity. We continued, creeping cautiously down the corridors. Kid moves proudly and stealthily like a cat stalking its prey, while in the shadows Majil followed, gliding swiftly and silently like a sinister breeze. We pressed on to the embrace of the Weaver of Fate. I have to read so fast, holy shit. We took the corridor leading from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually arriving at an intersection with some stairs. Holy fuck, thank God they slowed down. Isn't there a text speed option? Damn. The path to the right led down the stairs, and the path to the left was the dark side passage, and the main corridor continued straight onward. Side passage to the left. We headed down the side passage. At the end of it, we came to an old, immaculately polished door. I'm trying to remember the layout. Kid gently pushed the door ajar and peeked into the room. Unfortunately, I don't know which end of the building they fucking entered in order to map things out. Sam sucks at matches. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Ooh, that creak. Next thing I knew, she slipped inside. Majil and I followed. Looks like a study. The room was lit by moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams through the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. Yeah, he's definitely not a musician for health. Like, definitely not a musician, holy shit. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings, and shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from foreign lands. Check the desk. I went over to the desk and started searching the drawers. There, I found a neatly arranged set of pens, ink bottles, and other writing materials. Nothing of interest, in other words. A small portrait on the desk caught my eye. It was a picture of a young girl with a gentle smile on her lips. Who is she? Seeing as though you're in Viper Manor, probably Miss Riddell.
That's the girl Lynx adopted. If you ask me, it wasn't 'cause she was looking to help the needy,
said Kid, peering over my shoulder. Okay, never mind. I have no idea now. She wrinkled her nose in distaste.
Not even a looker.
Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. That was not a good sign. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, it may have well been a thunderclap. Kid and I stood bolt upright and turned towards it. Ooh. Majil, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Panicked, I whispered to Kid, hide behind the door in the shadows or hide under the desk. Behind the door. Fuck the desk. Quick! Behind the door! Yeah, they really changed it up. But I mean, this came out 4 years before the original, as in Chrono Cross came out. So this is good shit. We kept our bodies low as we silently and swiftly made for the back of the door, where the shadows would keep us hidden. We pressed our backs to the wall and did our best to still our breathing. Slowly, the door opened. Flickering candlelight spread from the doorway with a warm glow. I held my breath. But it seemed that whoever it was didn't mean to come in. They simply stood there. Strange. Thought I heard something. But the lore of the matter is away, of course. Why would there be anyone in here? I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine until we heard the news that Poor was on the move. The figure quietly closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness, and the voice trailed off to a whisper. We remained motionless, keeping our ears pricked for any sign of an unwelcome return. All we heard were footsteps moving away. So Poor has made its move. Majil emerged from the shadows, contemplating the news we'd overheard. Kid, if the rumors are true, we might well be about to find ourselves in a very difficult situation. This seemed to set her thinking, too. Poor was a powerful nation that ruled the southern continent. I'd heard it was a prosperous land whose recent and sudden development had pushed it far ahead of its neighbors, which made me wonder, what would its inhabitants want here, out in the sticks? They couldn't be after the frozen flame, too, could they? As valuable as it might be, a jewel was just a jewel in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't imagine it being an item of national interest. I mean, ultimately, it was just a very pretty rock, right?
Wrong. Let's do them what they want. If everyone's busy playing soldiers, they won't be bothering us. Come on, we've got things to do.
She headed for the door. We left the room and made our way back down the side passage. Leading from the study. Eventually, we had arrived back at the intersection. Some stairs downward, and the corridor branched left and right, with the right branch leading back towards the terrace. Okay, right branch leads back towards the terrace, left, right. We're gonna go down the stairs. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into blackness as we went. At the bottom, the path split. The way of left continued onto an atrium that resembled some sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passageway that turned off into the darkness. The atrium on the left I can recognize mentally. Kid poked her head through the arch-shaped door and took a look around. It's big in here. Must be some kind of hall. We took a cautious look around and then entered, one after another. Ugh, that's a creepy-ass statue. The atrium was a beautiful plaza, complete with a statue that doubled as a fountain. Pillars and arches lined the wall, and in the center was a small pool of clear water, above which the statue stood. On the other side of the room, I could see another arched entrance, like the one we had come through. Oh, that's cold! Kid was scooping up water from the fountain. I went over to her, resting my hand on the edge of the marble basin. I peered into the pool beneath. Shadows flickered under the water's surface. You reckon those fish are rare? As in, valuable? Kid leaned right over the edge. I couldn't see the bottom. I wondered how deep it was. The shadow of one of the fish grew larger and larger. Oh, fuck, that's not a good sign. Ooh. Whoa! Sensing danger, Kid leapt back from the edge. Clack! A fish leaped out from the water and snapped at her, its jaws bristling with razor-sharp teeth. Okay, it's a fucking piranha. Interesting. Yeah, I know, right? Cracker. Its mouth closed shut on the air, which she'd been only moments before. And with a splash, the fish darted back into the water. Piranodons! Deadly carnivorous fish with razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws that could snap a monster's horn in half. Staring in horror, I watched as the dark figures began to gather in what little of the pool I could make out. The piranodons must have detected prey! Soon the room was filled with the sound of splashing and snapping as the fish teemed at the water's surface. Bloody hell! Even Kid was uneasy. She took another step back. How many piranodons were in the pool? The thought of what would happen if they all left clear of the water and attacked at once crossed my mind. A bead of cold sweat rolled down my forehead. Suddenly, the water coming from the statue turned crimson and shot out in a powerful jet that nearly touched the ceiling? Jesus fucking Christ! I'm gonna have an apple slice for good luck, because this is about to get crazy. Yeah, looks like you kind of were right. Kid jumped back again. I just stood in shock, watching the torrent of water erupting from the statue. The scarlet waters continued to gush out from the fountain. The pool grew redder and started to overflow. We looked on entranced, but the spell was soon broken when we realized that the water was starting to flow faster and faster over the rim of the basin. Oh fuck. Ooh, this is not good. The piranhas began to jump and snap at the water's surface with a bloodthirsty glee. I was brought to my senses by the dull slapping sound of piranhas hitting the floor. We rushed back the way we came. No, exit on the other side. We're just running for it. Quick! There's an exit on the other side! I pointed to the doorway opposite of where we come in.
Hell yeah, here we go.
I tried my hardest to rush across the red pool, setting up great gouts of crimson water, but it was as thick as blood and I found myself struggling to move. Oh god. I felt sharp jabs of searing pain and countless piranhas snapped at my legs. Kid gritted her teeth in pain.
Surge, we gotta do something before we turn into mincemeat!
What was I gonna do? Deal with the fucking fish!
What? You wanna try and pick this little off on one by one?
Kid glared at me. Her face was a picture of exasperated disbelief.
Don't be a bloody idiot, Surge. You wanna die here?
While I stood there, my mouth agape, a piranha sunk its teeth into my foot. A bolt of pain surged up my leg, making me jump. What was I gonna do? Rush back the way we came, I suppose. Kid, let's get out of here! In a panic, we splashed through the water back to the corridor we came from. The fangs of the piranha snapped at my legs, and I felt a searing pain. But I had to endure it if I wanted any hope of reaching the entrance. Breathing heavily, I finally found myself back in the corridor outside. Jesus Christ, Surge is just getting ripped to shit here.
Oh, that was a close call. So that whole thing was a trap, eh? Talk about twisted. Lynx is even more of a sick bastard than I thought.
I was about to say he wouldn't have to be if he wouldn't have to be. Bleh, he wouldn't have to be if he didn't have to guard against people like her breaking into his home, but I thought better of it.
Well, at any rate, I think we can consider that a dead end. Let's go back.
Defeated, we left the atrium. Jesus. Something caused Kid to stop in her tracks.
Hello, hello. What do we have here?
She pointed to the side of the entryway to the hall. I found myself face to face with a sculpture of an old man's face with a truly phenomenal beard. Okay, I know who the old man is. Wow, that's a fucking ugly statue. The sculpture's eyes seemed to gleam with life. For a piece of marble, it seemed almost too realistic. It's a mouth of truth, announced Majil. Okay, never fucking mind. I don't know what this is. An enchanted statue that will tell if you're lying, and if it catches you out, it'll bite your hand off.
Oh, joy.
Majil kept his explanation simple so Kid wouldn't drift off before he got to the important part.
So what's it doing here, then?
I suppose it's part of a greater mechanism.
Stick your hand right in its gob, do ya? Righto, let's see what happens, shall we?
With a mischievous glint in her eye, Kid darted over and stuck her hand in its mouth without a moment's hesitation. Kid, you stupid bitch! She stood there for a moment waiting, but it didn't take her long to get bored.
Nothing.
Suddenly, I had an idea. Oh, fuck. Her new name is Lefty. Nice. Hey, Kid, who's the greatest thief who ever lived?
Me, of course, you drum.
Kid answered without a moment's hesitation, then suddenly her face twisted with pain. The teeth of the marble sculpture had clamped down her hand.
It bit me,
she cried.
Knock it off. Everyone knows it's the Ow!
The sculpture bit her again as soon as she spoke.
You little!
A cold sweat formed on Kid's forehead. The sculpture was tightening its grip. It won't let you go until you say something true. Despite the obvious urgency of the situation, Majil was matter as fact as ever. Just say anything, Kid! Anything, as long as it's the truth! Obviously, Kid wasn't listening. Instead, she just kicked awkwardly at the statue.
Oi, Beardy! Let go of me bloody hand!
She planted her feet on either side of its mouth and tried her hardest to pull herself out. She's gonna lose her fucking hand. She heaved, kicked and stamped, grunted and strained. And then finally her hand popped free. Holy shit, lucky. I was taken aback by what I just witnessed and couldn't say a word.
See? Told you it was the truth.
Kid raised her hand in the air triumphantly, as to demonstrate. I could see the heavy bite marks. The sculpture hadn't come away from the struggle unscathed either. Kid's attempt to break free had left it cracked in several places. Majil pointed silently at part of it. I went to take a closer look and saw a pale, flesh-colored tongue. Ew, that's fucking nasty. I expect we're supposed to put something there, commented Majil. Something? What exactly? I replied. Kid stood there for a moment, lost in thought, and then she started to unload all the knickknacks she'd been carrying. It was a strange collection of odds and ends, pulled out of her pockets, her boots, and even from her braid.
All right, Serge. Now it's your turn to give a go at that stupid statue.
Kid grinned at me, holding her assortment of knickknacks out in the palm of both hands. I guess she decided that whatever further horrors the statue had in store, she'd rather not face them herself. Nice, kid. Real nice. Grumbling to myself, I reached out to pick an item. I chose a mirror, a file, a centipede, a tube of lipstick, dried grapes, a length of fine thread. What the hell's a petrode? A vellum scroll, or to not waste my time. I don't know what a petard is. I'm going to try the petard, because I don't know what that is. I picked up the sizable petard. Anxiously, I shoved it inside the mouth of truth, but nothing happened.
Let the professionals handle this, Serge.
Kid shoved me aside. She was holding a match. Wait a second. You can't all be serious. All the blood drained from my face.
Deadly serious, mate.
Before I could say another word, Kid lit the fuse? Wait, is a petard a fucking bomb? No, we're not doing that. No. Nope. We're not doing that. Nope. Somebody just came trying to promote things on my channel, and it's like, nope, we're not doing that. A petard is a firecracker. Okay, I definitely chose an interesting option then. I didn't know that. An explosion followed, accompanied by a puff of white smoke. When the smoke had cleared, the mouth of truth came into view once more, still intact, but now very badly cracked indeed.
Not quite enough oomph to knock its block off, eh?
Should have brought a bigger one. Kid stood there with her arms folded, calmly commenting on the mayhem she just caused. What are you doing? I can't believe you just set that thing off like that. Kid shot me a look.
What do you mean? What else are you gonna do with a bomb?
She was a complete and utter liability.
Any more ideas, Serge?
Asked Kid breezily. I chose. Let's try the fine thread. I took the piece of thread, a length of very finely spun silk. It didn't seem like a good idea to shove it in, so I tried dangling it into the statue's mouth.
Watch yourself. That stuff ain't cheap. It's made by royal silkworms, I'd have you know.
Kid watched me critically. The thread slipped deeper and deeper into the mouth of truth, and then I felt a slight tug. I tried winding it carefully back around my finger. At the end of it was a small piece of paper.
Woohoo! Oh, I chose the right answer that time. Nice one, Serge. That's gotta be a clue.
Kid's eyes lit up with delight.
The note says, try again?
We stood silent. Womp, womp, womp. Oh, that was good. Shit, that's funny. Just getting comfortable. Okay, then.
You lick your tricky piece of... Yeah!
Kid ripped up the paper in a rage and threw it away, then started kicking in the mouth of truth. Majil was leaning against the wall, watching the spectacle in silence. I'm guessing that wasn't the one, then. What next? I chose... Let's go with the Velium Scroll. I picked up the peculiar piece of parchment. Bracing myself, I shoved it into the mouth of truth. Nice one, Mr. Master Thief. You think it's a magic scroll or something? Kid doubled over with laughter. I guess that didn't work. With a sheepish chuckle, I pulled it out again. Oops, my hand slipped and the scroll unfolded. It was filled with strange symbols. Noticing the confused look on my face, Majil spoke up. It's a decoding chart for use for the Imperial Guard's field reports. Well, it's all gibberish to me. Wouldn't be much of a code if it wasn't. Wouldn't be much of a code if it wasn't, wouldn't? Kid muttered witheringly. I was too embarrassed to imply. Once I had clawed back some of my pride, I attempted a recovery. You'll have to walk me through it sometime. She just pouted and looked away. Oh, so you can't read it either. Boy, can I pick up my moments. Fine, if you're not going to take this seriously, we're leaving you behind. Sometimes she could be as cold as ice. I'd really done it now. She made to leave, but I grabbed her gently by the shoulder. Look, I'm not messing around. I'm sure this next idea is going to work. I'll believe when I bloody well see it. Kid didn't seem convinced. Shit. Yeah, you know what? Why? It was Kid who had the centipede and handed it to Serge. So it's like, why did Kid have the centipede? Do you think I should put the centipede in its mouth? The stakes were high. I looked again at her collection of knickknacks and chose... centipede. Oh, that is just... What are you doing walking around with a centipede in your pockets? I reeled back in disgust. This isn't your pet or something, is it? Don't be thick, Serge. It's a toy, not a pet. A toy? You could have picked something nicer. It is nice. Nice for giving people nasty surprises. She seemed to think that this was an entirely reasonable attitude. Entirely reasonable to her, maybe. What was she doing with all this stuff? I reached out for the rubber centipede. Trying not to think too hard about what I was doing, I stuck it into the mouth of truth, only for it to fall down the back of its throat. Serge, you'll pay for this, Kid, staring daggers at me. I'll get it back, I promise. Stealing my nerve, I reached into the mouth of truth. Suddenly, my hair stood on end. It was licking my hand! The giant, uncanny tongue slopped back and forth across my fingers like I was a lollipop. That's fucking gross. Ugh. That's so gross. Like, what the shit? Oh, I'm gonna puke. Keep it together, Serge. Do it for the centipede. Kid's support didn't do much to help me, but I somehow managed to pinch the centipede with the tips of my fingers and pull it out. You must really love this thing. Not really. I just hate seeing stuff go to waste. I'm sorry, what? I am relating so much to Serge in this. I'm sorry, what? Fuck, that's good. I angle my screen a little bit, maybe more comfy. There we go. Why had I even bothered? Well, no luck there either. Want to try something else? Asked Kid. Almost like this was a game. I just want this to be over with. I reached out for the next item and chose... maybe food. It's a mouth. I took a small bag of dried grapes. One by one, I fed them into the sculpture's marble maw. Munch, munch, munch. Oh, it actually ate them. That's enough, Serge. Those are my emergency rations you're wasting. Kid snatched the bag from my hands. I still had the last grape, though, so I popped it into my mouth. It was absolutely delicious. They're not for you either, sunshine, growled Kid, glaring at me. You gotta take this seriously, Serge, or should I leave you alone with Beardy here? She was clearly annoyed, but I hadn't worn her patience completely thin just yet. I decided to try something else. I chose... Fuck it, let's go with a file. Maybe we can, file its teeth down or something. I took the file and placed it inside the mouth of the marble sculpture. It didn't seem to be the right album for the job. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh shit, it ate it! I was stunned. The mouth of truth had started chewing on the file. It was eating it. Ugh! Kid screamed with rage. Me file! Me lovely, scratchy, scrappy file! I can't believe you just let that happen. You're in big trouble now, mate. She was clenching her fists and trembling with fury. Fuck, we pissed her off. Whap kid on top of her head. I know, right? She's being a bitch. Sorry, I'll get you another one, I promise. I wanted to add just don't hit me, but I thought better of it. I'll hold you to that, muttered Kid in a threatening grumble. If you're just gonna feed the statue all my stuff, we're done here. I promise that's not what I'm trying to do. You better bloody not be, mate. Once again, she showed me her collection. I chose... Okay, I am down to the mirror and the lipstick. What should I choose? Do I choose the mirror or the lipstick? Mirror it is. I took the small silver mirror. The sculpture stared impassively, the marble beard still commanding my attention. I stuffed the mirror into its mouth. It didn't seem to be the right arm for the job. Well, I don't see any cavities. Yeah, very funny. Now give me my favorite mirror back before that thing chomps it to pieces. She lost her patience and snatched it off me. It was a rather nice mirror. I pictured her gazing into it as she braided her hair. Do you want to try something else? Asked Majil dryly. I chose. Okay, last thing is the lipsticks. I picked up the small lacquered tube of lipstick. I know, right? Like, why is it the lipstick? And without knowing quite why, I smeared it all over the statue's mouth. What are you... My lippy! Kid exploded with fury at the sight of the mouth of True's bright red lips. What are you getting so mad about? You don't even wear makeup. It's from making our path to make sure we don't get lost. I didn't realize. That would explain why you brought it with you. And what exactly is that supposed to mean? What's so funny about me having lipstick anyhow? Ugh. Nothing at all. Didn't take much to tell. This was the calm before the storm. You better buy me some more when we're done here. Yeah, she was mad all right. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's just try something else. Kid gave me a doubting glare in response to my apology. Take this seriously or I'm through with you. I gulped and nodded in panic, then reached out for the next item I chose. Okay, so the answer is to just not waste my time on this. I lingered for a moment but pulled my hand away. It didn't seem like any of them were what we were looking for. All right. Let's just forget about it for now, muttered Kid, stowing all the valuables. I was sure we'd find a use for this stuff. Whatever. Best get moving, eh? Defeated, we left the atrium behind us. Interesting. Leaving the atrium behind us, we immediately found ourselves at a fork in the path. To the right was the passage to stairs leading upward. A dark passage on directly in front of us where we stood. Let's just go ahead. I'm not going up those fucking stairs again. We left the atrium and continued down the path ahead. Eventually, we came across an ornate door at the right-hand side. I know, right? Or like a roundabout. Ooh, something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming from inside? Continue. We went down the dark passageway, eventually finding ourselves at a sturdy-looking, immaculately polished door. Just as I thought. Something stinks here. I reckon we found the beast's lair, lads. Wait, seriously? We found it? Holy shit. In the darkness, Kid's lips twisted in a way that turned my blood cold. We went inside. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. Ooh, that's a bit quick. It was Lynx's room, but he didn't seem to be around. The bugger's gone and scuppered 'cause he heard I was coming. There was something deeply unpleasant about the room. There wasn't anything unusual about the furniture and fittings, not how they looked or how they were made, but taken as a whole, it all felt discordant. Was this a reflection of Lynx? A seemingly ordinary facade that hid a disturbing truth only some could see? Let's see what we can find. The desk drawers, the paintings on the wall, the vase at the top of the side table. We left no stone unturned. Okay, if this is Lynx's room, then you're going to want to touch the statue because the statue opens a hidden room. I know this from Color Cross. There didn't seem to be anything suspicious. but as I scanned the room, something unusual caught my eye. There was a pedestal in one corner with a significant-looking scarlet cloth drawn over it. I slowly raised my hand towards it. I'm sorry, you didn't notice the pedestal in the corner with the fucking scarlet cloth on it before? You are only noticing it now? Like, what the shit, Serge? Oh my god. Let me just reset my pose it. There we go. Now I look a little nicer. Be careful what you touch in here, warned Majil. I pulled my hand back timidly. But then the cloth flipped back with a flutter without me having laid a finger on it. A mirror?
Did that thing just move by itself?
Exclaimed Kid, her eyes wide open with surprise. Ooh boy.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling especially cute today.
Gripped by curiosity, we moved in to see what had been hiding. It was a large antique mirror, of an elaborately decorated style I'd seen before. It wasn't the kind of thing that would be normally seem out of place in old manor like this, and yet...
Wait, something ain't right,
said Kid. Meanwhile, I was captivated by the gaze of the statue of Venus reflected in the mirror. Oh, that's fucking creepy. Suddenly, the eyes of the statue shone with light. And is talking.
What is your desire?
It spoke with a voice that was crystal clear, yet smoky and husky. The mirror is speaking, I stammered. Ah, a whispering mirror, muttered Majil, as if he'd seen them 1,000 times before.
What's one of those?
Kid gave Majil a quizzical glance. A magical mirror in which a spirit dwells. The spirit can freely move between its own and other mirrors, and will share its wisdom with those who ask. Perhaps we should ask it something. I decided to ask it something that had been on my mind for some time. I asked about Kid, or I asked about Majil. Ooh, we don't fuck all about Majil, so let's ask about Majil. I want to know about Majil's past, I said, casting a furtive glance in his direction.
As you wish.
The statue of Venus in the mirror turned her gaze downward. As she did so, darkness spread across the mirror's surface, but nothing else took its place. There was only unending black. But what did it mean?
Leave the stupid mirror alone, get back to work, snapped Kid.
She was already poking and prodding at other things in the room. I stepped away from the mirror and tried searching the room again. I took another look around the room. I didn't rate our chances of finding much of interest, no matter how hard we looked. What was I gonna do? I tried seeing what I could do myself, if anything. I can't just rely on others all the time. Let's see what we can find. There had to be somewhere Lynx kept things hidden. My eyes scanned the room, and eventually settled on a large and comfy-looking sofa under the window. I sat down on it, and then on a whim, decided to fully recline. Something poked me in the back. There was something hard between the cushions. I pulled out a brown glass bottle filled with some kind of liquid. Oh, great. You found the booze stash. What's this?
Good for what ails ya? Best to have a glug then, eh?
Said Kid. The label on the back said it was good for malnutrition, weak constitutions, poor appetite, insomnia, joint pain, chills, headaches, and back pain. Fuck, that sounds great. Sounds like snake oil to me. I took a gulp, not expecting, but... why would you just drink that, my dude? Like, do you not, I don't know, read the fucking label? Like, I mean, just because it says it does that doesn't mean you should just randomly drink shit. That's not a good idea, man. Yeah, exactly, snake oil. But my whole body was filled with a pleasing warmth, and I thought I could feel my circulation improving. Well, I guess I feel less tired.
Good, because we're leaving. We won't find much else in here.
With that, we left Lynx's room. Shit, so I guess that was our only chance to talk about the mirror. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the left-hand side. Let's go in. It's going everywhere. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Though the room was richly furnished, somehow it still felt awfully lonely. Kid took a quick look around before commenting. It's Lynx's girl's room. A half-written letter on the desk and a teacup still warm suggested that the lady of the manor was still nearby. But it didn't seem that anyone was here now. We decided to search the room. Some charming flowers, a discarded cotton handkerchief, a small bottle of perfume, and Majil walking in front of the mirror, I assume. I guess there's Serge, and there's Kid. Nothing that meant much to me, nor anything that seemed particularly valuable. Kid seemed to have the same impression and scanned the room, clearly not expecting to find anything. The only item of note was a small antique box which bore a crest resembling a viper. I decided where to look next. I'm going to look at the little box. I picked up the little box on the bookshelf. I gently opened the lid and was greeted by a soothing melody. Oh! I know this song. I can't remember what it's called. The music box. There was something about the song. This is Shore of Another World. It's like one of the sailing themes, I believe. I know this tune. Kid was standing next to me, and I could see something had changed in her expression. You do, huh, Kid?
Someone used to sing it to me. A long time ago.
She turned her gaze downward and went silent. Kid? Startled, she turned to me. Her eyelashes glistened as if wet with dew. She walked to the door, not saying a word. Hey, Kid, wait up! We left the room. Was she crying? Was Kid crying? Yeah, maybe I was just seeing things. The passage outside the door continued to our left and right. Going right would take us to Lynx's room. Meanwhile, going left would take us to the atrium and another branch. If we go back towards Lynx's room, we might be able to talk to the mirror again. Back to Lynx's room. Kid's eyes gleamed up. We're gonna go inside. It might repeat the scene as before. I'm kind of hoping it does.
No one's in. Figures.
No matter how many times we came to this room, I couldn't get used to it. There was just too much Lynx about it. If it weren't for the mystery mirror being helpful to give us a hint or two, not that its hints were always helpful, I'd have wanted to avoid coming here altogether. I walked over it, hoping to ask for another insight. There we go!
What is your desire?
Asked the mirror, just as it always did. Well, there's a few things on my mind, I replied hesitantly. The eyes of the statue of Venus shone with light.
I can only answer a single question at a time.
Oh, that's bad. I scratched the back of my head impatiently and grumbled to myself before addressing the mirror again. Why is that? Or, well, in that case. I'm gonna go in that case. Alright. Then tell me about yourself. I was filled with questions about the mystery mirror. The image of Venus in the mirror looked down and softly murmured,
Do you really wish to know about my past?
Kid interrupted.
Yeah, who the hell are you?
I was born in the realm of mirrors, close to 300 years ago.
Realm of Mirrors? Never heard of it.
Oh, it was a guy. Realm of Mirrors. Never heard of it. Majil answered on the mirror's behalf.
It lies on another plane separate from this world. My fellow spirits and I traveled the world, crossing from mirror to mirror.
Kid interrupted again.
Is that why you're only here sometimes?
Alas, in the course of my travels, I became separated from the other spirits.
The statue of Venus began to weep. You're making pizza barbecue? Holy shit. Okay, so when I booted up the game initially, it fucked up Twitch Studio, so after 5 minutes of streaming, I had to basically kill the entire stream and then boot up the entire thing from scratch in order to get it working again, and apparently this is a visual novel. So, like, my jaw is getting sore from reading. This is interesting. Yeah. I'm just having a snacky. A little stupid little crunch.
I am all alone in this world.
She sobbed.
Oh, if only I could just fade away.
Her tears showed no sign of sobbing. Well, don't worry. If we meet any other mirror spirits, we're sure to tell them about your predicament. Overwhelmed with pity, I felt I had to offer to help somehow.
Thank you. You are truly a kind man.
The statue of Venus gave a gentle bow, and with that, the mirror returned to its usual state. It seems the spirit has moved on. We too should be on our way, said Majil. We left Lynx's room. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the left-hand side. It was Riddell's room, Lynx's daughter. Okay, whoa. Lynx did not have a daughter in Chrono Cross. Let's continue on our way. We don't need to go back in Riddell's room. Stairs going upward. We don't want the atrium. So I guess we're gonna go, or maybe, you know what? Let's go to the atrium again.
You gotta be kidding me!
Shouted Kid, glaring at me.
Are you telling me to swim through a bloody lake of piranodons? Yeah, you can count me out, mate. How am I supposed to chow my victims with big chunks bitten out of me?
I guess you had a point.
Here's a better plan. Why don't we go back to Beardy and try sticking something down his gob?
Sure enough, she pulled out her bundle of odds and ends. Do I have to? I tried, knowing the answer, which is probably just as well, since Kid only glared at me in response. My hand hovered for a moment before I finally reached for something I chose. But we've tried all the options. We've literally tried all the options. Although we could try the thread again. Try the cherry bomb. I picked up the sizable petard. Anxiously, I shoved it into the mouth of truth. Nothing happened.
Let the professionals handle this, Serge.
Kid shoved me aside, and she was holding a match. Oh, wait a second, you can't be serious. All the blood drained from my face.
Deadly serious, mate.
Before I could say another word, Kid lit the fuse. An explosion followed, accompanied by a puff of white smoke. When the smoke had cleared, the mouth of truth came into view once more, still intact, but now very badly damaged indeed.
Not quite enough oomph to knock its block off, eh? Should have brought a bigger one.
She stood there with her arms folded, calmly commenting on mayhem she just caused. What do you think you're doing? I can't believe you just set a thing like that off. Kid shot me a look.
What do you mean? What else are you gonna do with a bomb?
She was a complete and utter liability.
Well, any more ideas, Serge?
Asked Kid breezily. I chose... You know what, we're gonna do the thread again, because the thread said try again. Slight tug. Paper. The note says try again. She started kicking at it. I'm going to try one more time with the thread. Because it said try again. It's the same shit. Okay, so this statue does not do, like, anything. Whoa, hold it! Oh my god, it worked! It fucking worked!
What's that?
Kid looked confused for a moment, and suddenly the statue's tongue leaped out of its mouth.
Oh, what in the bloody heck?
Kid leapt away like a startled cat. Holy shit, I did not think that was gonna work. Yeah, it's interesting. With Kid safely out of the way, I was the only target left within reach. Ah, it's all sticky! Ah, I'm gonna be sick! The tongue had covered my face with thick, warm saliva. Oh, fuck me. But strangely, I felt a sort of glow in the places where it licked. Oh, no, that's fucking nasty, man. What the shit? My aching wounds began responding to the warmth. But Jill was leaning against the wall, watching the spectacle in silence. I'm guessing that wasn't the one, then. What next? I chose... Okay. While he was rooting around, he got a blue upgrade from that, and I'm gonna pull away. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Let's go to the stairs now. With Kid leading the way, we started to climb the narrow staircase. At the top, we found another intersection. The corridor to the right would take us to a dead end with a large door, while the way to the left led to the terrace. The narrow side passage in front of us was open. Let's try right. Kid stopped in her tracks, signaling to us with a hand behind her back. She drew her knife and stared into the darkness. Oh fuck, we might have to fight. We heard the clinking of metal from just up ahead. Goblin guards. It wasn't likely there'd be anyone else going for a nighttime stroll around the manor wearing armor. I suggested a tactical retreat.
Tactical retreat?
How about a tactical boot up the arse instead?
Look, you're never gonna get good thieving if you keep acting like such a bloody chicken.
Having rejected my suggestion, Kid seemed to take great pleasure in putting the boot in for good measure. Nice. They won't know what hit them, she shouted, leaping into battle. Caught on the back foot, I fumbled with my knife. Oh boy, here we go. 5 of them in total, weren't ordinary goblins though. Having been well looked after in this palatial manor, they'd grown to be even bigger than Majil. Holy shit. Each of them were carrying the manor's goblin's trademark, a morning star consisting of a rod and a heavy spiked iron ball on a chain. Wait, is that her flail? I never could remember, but I didn't have time to think much more on it. A goblin came rushing at me, swinging its spiked ball and chain over my head. I jumped back to evade. The iron ball crashed into the stone tile I was standing on only moments before, crushing it. Had I tried to stop it with my knife, I would have been lucky to escape with a fractured skull. Stab the goblin through the back of its weapon hand. Oh, very much this aggro. Having missed me, the goblin lost its balance. I plunged my knife through the back of the weapon in its hand. The goblin's face contorted in pain as it dropped its morning star. I knew that going for its hand would be more effective than trying to land a good hit on its fleshy, porcine body. I moved the goblin's front and plunged my knife into its heart. Through the knife. Steal the mace. I threw the knife at the goblin's face. By reflex, it immediately raised its buckler to catch the blow. I took the opportunity to swiftly free the goblin's mace from its belt and slip behind its back. All I had to do next was bring the mace down on its head. The goblin turned around right on cue. I slammed the mace right in its face. There was a horrible squelch, and I felt a sickening crunch in the shock that ran through the weapon. The goblin's fatty form flooded to the ground. This is actually... It's definitely an event that happens in Chrono Cross, but there's a lot more that happens in Chrono Cross than just stealing the stuff from the manor, so it's like, this is different. It's similar, but different. Exhausted, I panted for breath. Yeah, it's literally a visual novel, which, I did not know it was a visual novel. I was expecting a little bit more, but that being said, this is kind of cool. I have enjoyed the lore. Exhausted, I panted for breath.
Finally got a notch in your belt, eh?
Taunted Kid, coming to my side. I wanted to say something, but I was too exhausted. It makes me read really freaking fast in order to pull this off. I was doing great. Felt like nothing could stop me.
Well, that was another fine bloody mess. What did we even bring you for, Serge?
Kid's cold stare pierced through me like a javelin made of ice. We continued forward. Past where the stairs and the side passage emerged into the main corridor. We found ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. Well, we're obviously going in.
Kid gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Doesn't look like anyone's in there.
It seemed to be the main hall of the manor. There was a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towered a tremendous pipe organ, like a burnished black mountain. Well, that's definitely not in Cross. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, setting the corners of the room dancing in and out of shadow. Several enormous portraits glowered down from on high in the wall. Were these members of Lynx's family? I was busy staring at a painting depicting a young husband and wife, and then I realized their eyes had turned to look right at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry. This isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost stories. It just looked that way because the flickering light off the candles reflected against the glossy oil paints. Obviously. Probably.
This place gives me the creeps, and get a load of all these ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else.
Neither Majil and I had any objections. We left the hall and returned to the corridor. Eventually, it led us to an intersection. There were some stairs going down to the right and a dark side passage. If we kept going straight, we'd arrive back at the terrace. Let's go towards the study again. This was the study. Let's go back in the study and see if we can find anything else.
Serge, we don't have time for this. We're not going to magically find something useful by trying the same bloody room over and over again. Let's go someplace else.
There was a tinge of annoyance in Kid's voice, but she wasn't being unreasonable. Without some kind of lead, we'd waste all night trying to find something. We left the room and retraced our steps. God fucking damn it. Let's go back towards the terrace. There was another option. Follow the corridor. Keep following the corridor. A short way along the corridor, running from the right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door, again on our right. Kid pressed an ear against it, looking for any signs of life. Dead quiet. Don't reckon there's anybody in there. Open the door. In we go. Kid stilled her breath and reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. It swung slowly open.
What's this room supposed to be? Place is a dump.
Kid had poked her head in through the door, taking a quick peek to see if there was anyone inside, and was disappointed by what she found. You gonna show us what she found? Oh, what the shit? That's not normal. The room was large and littered with peculiar-looking machinery and knickknacks, all of which were covered in dust and seemingly been dumped there haphazardly. Everything looked like it had been rusting for a very long time. The ends of the room were completely dark, and it was impossible to tell just how big it was, or even what the walls and floor looked like. It seems the mayor's inhabitants had turned the old clock tower into a makeshift storage space some time ago. I stepped warily inside. Leave that alone! I looked over towards Majil and saw Kid trying to pull something from the shadows. It was a huge sword. Appeared to be very old indeed. You don't need that old bludgeon, it'll only get in the way. As much as an antique as it is, it won't fetch much on that market in the condition it is.
Yeah, reckon it might, you know? There's plenty of collectors who just love old bits of junk.
Well, some old bits of junk. Pouting, Kid left the sword where she stood. At least she put it back down gently. It was then we heard a voice from the shadows. Oh no. And what exactly are you doing here, huh? I just about jumped out of my skin.
Who's there?
Kid and Majil turned to face the voice, ready for a fight. Oh, that's not... Oh, God. A wizened crone emerged from the shadows. She was hunched over and wore a hood draped over her face. Oh! Oh, we just have some creepy bitch in a tower! Oh! Damn! This is now something that's happening. Let me just adjust my angle a little bit more. Okay, maybe this will work. I could tell at a glance she wasn't just old. She's positively ancient.
It's just some doddery old bag. No, it's just some doddery old bag. What do you think you're doing sneaking up on us like that?
Kid's shoulders relaxed as the tension left her body. Madril, however, continued to give the woman a piercing stare.
Oh, what an impish little thing you are. Here to visit a friend, perhaps? Not in the dead of night, I suspect.
The crone narrowed her eyes.
Let's get a better look at you. Ah, yes. You must be here to get your revenge on Lynx.
Okay, this is happening. How does she... My heart jumped. She seemed to know exactly who we were. We're in trouble. What if she sounded the alarm? We'd have to give up on the treasure and run for our lives. What were we gonna do? Defiantly tell her she was right? Play dumb. You know what? Tell her she was right.
So what if we are?
Kid narrowed her eyes back at the crone. We're just running with this, okay? We're just gonna do this.
What's it to you if we're here to get our revenge on an old Lynxy boy? You gonna do something about it? You never change, do you?
The crone chuckled madly, her small frame shaking.
Ah, the boldness of youth. Yes, that's the spirit.
You what? Kid looked at the crone, completely confused. I was no less mystified.
What the heck are you on about? Oh, must have been 4 or 5 years ago, yes. It was around then an innocent young thief stole into the manor looking to singe Lord Lynx's whiskers.
Why are they playing this song?
She couldn't have been much older than 10 now that I think about it.
Shocked, I turned my gaze to Kid. Shit, this old lady knows. A wet glint had appeared in Kid's eyes, but her glare was like ice. It certainly felt as if the temperature in the room had suddenly dropped below freezing. With a chuckle, the crone continued her story, pretending not to have noticed the change in mood.
She was an orphan, you know. Came after Lynx to avenge a woman who'd loved her like her own daughter. But all the vengefulness in the world couldn't change the fact that she was only a little girl. She was no match for Lynx's men, sadly, and they quickly captured her. Lynx is the kind of man one would fear to have as an ally, never mind a foe. Had it not been for the timely assistance of a friend of hers, the girl would have certainly been executed.
Holy fuck, what an asshole.
The way the people of the manor told it, the very shadows pitied the girl and rushed in to spirit her away. I wonder how much of the tale could be true. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure, of course. You can't win all the time. And sometimes, against all odds, fate really can be foiled, and the clockwork of history set into disarray. No, the ones I have no patience for are those who do not recognize their failure, or who fail and choose to give up as a result. The crone looked up from under her hood, stared Kid directly in the face and grinned. Kid's anger faded, giving way to a dumbfounded expression. If you wish to steal the jewel from Lynx, if you truly wish to triumph, you will have to let go of a treasure of your own, Kid. For as long as you cling to it, the hands of your clock will never move. They'll stay exactly where they came to rest all those years ago. Who are you? Me? Why, I'm just an old bag, just like you said. I do apologize. I must have taken up a lot of your time with all my babbling. I'll leave you in peace. Oh, before I go, the crone turned to face me. You seem to be injured, young man. If you wish, I could take a look at your wounds. Oh yeah, we did get our asses kicked earlier on. With all the attention suddenly turned to me, I panicked a little. Alright then, please do. Please do.
The crone muttered a few words as her bony fingers drew sigils in the air. A pale, gentle light began to surround my body, filling me with strange warmth.
Strike a light? That's no ordinary spell.
Kid was impressed. I felt my wounds healing, and then heard a nostalgic melody that soothed the wounds in my heart. Before I realized it, the crone was gone. Oh, that's fucking creepy.
Hey, lady?
Kid strained her eyes, scanning the darkness. But there was no one to be seen, and her calls went unanswered.
What the bloody heck was that?
Kid looked as she'd just woken up off the floor of the laughing pig after a few too many.
And what'd she mean by you having to let go of a treasure? Well, we won't find any answer here.
Well, we won't find any answers here. Time to move on. Majil brought us back down to earth, emotionless as always. It always seems as though he thought nothing had happened at all.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Kid walked quickly to the door, keen to move on.
Hold it, you!
Just as I was about to follow Kid out of the room, she jabbed me in the side with her elbow.
You stingy little bonus, Serge. Why didn't you tell her to share some of that healing magic with the rest of us?
Classic Kid. Oops! I didn't know that was an option!
I'm sorry.
Depths of the manor, here we go. Sturdy looking door on the left. A little further stood a stairway leading upward.
Well, this door is clearly meant to keep something safe. If there ain't some kind of treasure behind it, my name ain't Kid. Yep, that's the smell of cold hard cash, all right.
She muttered to herself as she began to inspect the door more closely. Oh, we're going in.
What am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked.
Kid had tried the door handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick.
Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it. The bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. It'll take more than me putting a boot in it to get us through all that.
I see. Then unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside.
I reckon I can handle a key hunt, especially if it's that idiot Lynx who's hidden it. If we can find his room, I'll sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. You just watch.
There was little more we could do here, so we decided to look elsewhere. Okay. Does that mean we have to go back towards his room, or should we continue on? We'll continue on for now, and remember to go back to his room. The corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. With Kid in lead, we headed upstairs. It was dark, and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone of the steps was worn smooth with age. I lost count how many there were as we spiraled onward and upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why, but it felt as though we were marching to the gallows. When we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old heavy door, looming in the silence. All was deathly silent, and the still, clammy air aided to the sense of an ominous apprehension. Something's very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door, Majil added, doing nothing to lift the mood.
Grow up, would ya?
Kid shot back at us derisively.
Divisively.
I don't think I've ever read that word aloud before, so I have no idea how the hell to read that. She was already examining the door.
Well, it ain't locked, and I don't hear anyone inside.
I guess we're gonna just go inside? Alright, here goes. Kid tried the handle. The door opened, and with some low, heavy swing, revealed what lay beyond. Oh, I said that right. Oh, fantastic. Relatively. Nice. Ooh, creaky.
Why is it creaky?
It was a small, cylindrical room that appeared to be the inside of one of the stone towers. It was completely deserted, and there were no windows.
What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps.
Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback.
There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. Closer look at a bloody empty room. Might as well, I guess. We did climb all them stairs.
Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. I know, right? It's so loud. It's so loud. I scanned the room, and then I noticed something on the floor. The flagstones were covered in dozens of narrow scratches, and in places they were thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away, a malice and a sadness beyond imagining. There's something written here. Crouching in front of the wall, Majil was suspecting some brownish markings that looked more of the same stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled them using blood magic. Kid had gone over to take a look. Looks pretty old. Hard to read, too. Some of it's been worn away. Let's see. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to lead the Acadian signet in this room. The Acadian signet? Suddenly the door jams shut. Oh, fuck me! We jumped to our feet with a start. From above us we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and floor began to tremble.
What the hell's going on?
Kate's eyes darted around the room as she desperately tried to figure out what was happening. The creaking sound from above continued, and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! Oh, fuck me! What the fuck?
We walked right into a bloody trap.
Kid bit her lip. Oh, fuck me, this shit is getting extremely intense. Oh my god.
We gotta do something fast. We don't have time to stand around and think about this.
Barge the door, smash down the wall, smash down the wall. Fuck. What was I gonna do? Savage! Kid shriek ran in my ears and then... the edge of one of the descending blades sliced into my oh no! No time, what we're gonna do? Smash down a wall.
Good idea!
There's gotta be a hidden door or something, yelled Kid. Panicked, we tried thumping the walls to see what we could find. All we came up with was solid, unyielding stone. The edge of one of the descending blades sliced into my forehead. No time. Barge the door down. Kid sprang at the door like an arrow, slamming into its shoulder fist. But it was far too heavy, and her light frame bounced right off it.
Damn it!
Majil raced towards the door like the wind, smashing into it with ferocious force. It made a creaking sound and shook from the impact, but stood firm. Desperately, I hurled myself at it too. The shock of impact rushed through my body, but it was no good. Meanwhile, the crusty creaking from above continued, as did the ceiling's inexorable journey downward. And to make matters worse, now countless blades were popping in and out.
Search! Majil! This is gonna take the three of us.
Timing our blows, we all charged the door at once. 1, twice, a third time. And then the door was open and we were collapsed in a heap on the corridor outside. Behind us, we heard the sound of a bladed ceiling grinding on the stone floor of the tower room. The metallic scraping noise it made was awful. We could only look in silent horror at the fate we so narrowly evaded.
Jesus fucking Christ, that is not okay.
The machinery continued for a short while before slowly coming to a stop. It seemed the ceiling trap had finally finished its grisly work.
Bugger me! Talk about a nasty surprise.
Some kind of execution chamber? I know, right? Like, goddamn, that got morbid fast. Majil continued, seeming to be in deep thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acadia. Yeah, what was that all about? I asked. The Acadia Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. Actually, the Acadia Dragoons are alive and well in Cross. They were wiped out no more than a decade ago, by the lord of this very manor, no less.
Thanks for the history lesson, Mag.
Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust.
Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights.
Come on,
we got a lot more exploring left to do.
Majil shrugged silently, and we headed back to the stairs. Jesus Christ, we've hit 2 death traps. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. We went down the stairs and continued straight ahead, eventually coming across a sturdy-looking door on our right. The corridor continued further back towards the terrace. We're going to continue on towards the terrace because it said we had to go to Lynx's room. Oh. Let's go inside. Maybe the old lady's there and she can heal us again. No sign of life. Hello? Any little old ladies in here? No kindly old dears who know more than what they're letting on, lurking in the shadows? Come out wherever you are.
Oh, lady, show yourself!
The sound spoke volumes. This is a waste of time, pronounced Majil flatly, turning on his heel. We left the dusty old storage room. Okay, no old ladies. I believe he is. I haven't read any of his books, to be honest. Alright, we want to go left, back to the terrace. Keep following the corridor. Towards the main hall. Oh wait, main hall was not the right one. Kid gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Looks like the coast is clear. We stepped into the main hall. Right, yes. I was busy staring at a painting depicting an intimidating old man when his eyes suddenly widened and he stuck his tongue out at me. No, I'm just seeing things again. It just looked that way because the flickering light of the candles were reflecting off the glossy oil paints. I mean, that could totally happen, right? Definitely. Okay, maybe.
This place gives me the creeps. And get a load of all these ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else.
Neither Majil or I had any objections. We left the main hall and returned to the corridor. We're gonna go down the stairs then. Okay, so this is Riddell's room. We're gonna go inside quickly, just in case. We found ourselves in a tiny, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed well loved. A window was slightly ajar, bringing in some much needed fresh air. And a feather, apparently. It seemed that someone had been here only moments ago. Let's come back later. And we left Riddell's room for now. Okay, are we not the only one here? Oh boy. Why are your niece and nephews in your room? Like, dude. The passage outside the room continued to our left and right. We have to go towards Lynx's room.
I knew he wouldn't be in here.
We started looking for any signs of the key to the vault. Maybe she can help, said Kid, thrusting her chin towards the mirror. I gently pulled the soft cloth from the mirror and stared into the glass. It was dark, like the surface of a lake at night.
What is your desire?
I asked where the key to the vault is. I asked about Kid's measurements! Oh god! Do you know where the key to the vault is? The mirrors are... I know, right? I know! I probably should have done it. Damn, that would have been funny as shit. The mirror's reflection rippled and changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. A deep, sonorous voice spoke.
You will find the key in the place I revealed. The study. It is inside a book with a purple cover in the furthest bookshelf from the door.
The image of the study vanished from the mirror, and the voice went silent. It appears the spirit has left for another mirror, commented Majil. To the study, then. As I made to leave the room, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Beware. He knows. Was it the voice of the mirror again? What did it mean?
Hurry up or we're leaving you behind, Serge, called Kid from outside.
Flustered, I rushed after her. Shit, okay, Lynx knows. Fuck. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. Eventually, we came across to Riddell's room. I'm gonna go inside. Because Riddell's room is acting weird. With the window open and shit. Okay, yeah, nothing in here. Atrium with the fountain. We need to go to the stairs leading upward. Towards the study. At the end of it, we came to the immaculately polished door, the study. We go inside.
Right. Let's find this key.
Light on her feet as always, Kid moved into the center of the room.
Where'd the mirror say it was again, Serge?
She was asking me. How was I supposed to remember? The book with the purple cover in the far bookcase. Damn, that's a lot of options. I think it's supposed to be a purple one. Furthest bookcase.
Alright, let's see.
So you would take my word for it. Kid made to the case in question.
Right, this is the one. Purple cover, purple cover. Aha! This has gotta be it.
Kid pulled out a book from the bottom shelf. Majil and I watched as she opened it. The pages were hollowed out, and inside was the old key decorated with strange symbols!
Nailed it.
I'm gonna put on my ribbon because that was a win. Have a sip of some juice. That was so good. Also, wow, there was a lot of options.
Nailed it. Nice one, Serge.
Kid snatched the key from inside the book.
Right. Time to finally get a look at this treasure.
Having got what we came for, we left the study. Okay, so we have to go...
No, you need to say when all my episodes. They're my fucking episodes.
Okay, so we need to go to the terrace first. Continue on. There it is. Go inside.
This should do it.
Kid slipped the key we found into the lock. Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished as various magical barriers were dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green. Every color under the sun, and then all was quiet, and the darkness of the manor returned.
Right. We're in.
With a crack, the heavy door gently swung open. As soon as I saw what was inside, I gave a gasp. Kid stepped inside. Oh, we've hit the mother lode. Oh shit, did you ever? Out of the darkness loomed a veritable mountain of gold, silver, priceless works of art, and exquisite trinkets. Kid looked as if she was on the verge of drooling at the sight of all, but what thief wouldn't have been? After all, this is the kind of hoard that a few people would ever come across in their lifetime. The smallest fraction of this vast mound of riches would have seen even the most careless spendthrift set for life. I've known a couple of spendthrifts. Or thrift spends, really. How goes the frozen flame? Ignore the rest. Majil spoke with an icy dedication of our mission. He'd not even batted an eyelid to the sight that greeted us. Yeah, I know. She was disappointed, of course, but she soon set about scanning the room for the object of our hunt. Wait, is that it? Look, on the pedestal over there. I turned to see what Kid was pointing at. And... oh, wow, it is totally fucking different than how it looks in Cross. Damn. And there it was. A small yet perfectly formed jewel that gave off a pale red light. A jewel that looked like a flickering fire suspended in time. The frozen flame. Silently, Majil walked towards the pedestal. I called out, "Wait, we have to be careful." "You're right. This is Lynx we're dealing with, after all. It may very well be trapped. We should be on our guard."
We need to be quick about this. But fine, have it your way, grumbled Kid, looking away.
Majil examined the pedestal for a short while and then paused. "We were advised to be cautious." Placing his left hand on the base of the pedestal, he muttered an incantation, drawing quick sigils in the air with his right hand. Some glyph appears on its smooth surface, and for a moment blazed brightly. "There. Now we can proceed." Majil calmly reached out and grabbed hold of the red jewel.
Da-na-na-na. Searching for the frozen flame.
We managed to get what we come for without anything horrible happening to us. Oh yeah, nothing horrible happening to us except, I don't know, the piranhas. And then the creepy old lady, even though she turned out to be pretty nice. And then the fucking goblins that tried to smash her head in the fucking spike room. But no, nothing bad happened to us. Yeah, exactly, the ceiling of doom. He was staring silently at the jewel in his hands. "Majil, we did it! Let's get out of..." Before I could finish, the frozen flame crumpled to dust. This flame was a fake. Lynx must be keeping the real one somewhere safe.
What?
Suddenly, a siren rang out, and the room was flooded with light. The metal bars slammed down in front of the door. I knew it looked wrong. I fucking knew it looked wrong. I called it.
Damn it, Kid!
I turned with a gasp to see Kid frozen, an ornate crown in her hands, and a wide-eyed look of awkward shock on her face. Da-da-da-da. Kid and friends obtained a golden crown, too! You're kidding me, right? You had to go and... You complete bonehead! I let rip with a scream of choice insults. In my head, that is. Metallic parrots in the four corners of the room suddenly came to life, flopping their wings and screeching. "Ah! Thieves! Thieves!" "We're in trouble." "These things are going nowhere," said Majil, inspecting the bars covering the door. Although to look at him, you would have thought there was nothing wrong.
Which way?
The parrots, to the vault. We heard voices in the distance. The guards were coming. Kid died behind a pile of gold coins.
Found someplace to hide.
In a panic, I looked around the room. Large chest sitting wide open next to a pillar. I rushed to empty it out and plunged head first and closed the lid. Oh yeah, no, just dive into the box and fucking suffocate like how many people? You're gonna run out of air. Captain, there's no sign of anyone in there. No sign. Strange, peculiar. No one has ever escaped before. None have ever fled the mousetrap's clutches. None. I gently pushed up the lid of the chest and peeked through the gap. There were 5 goblins wearing suits of armor. unlocking the gate and about to make their way inside. Oh no, there's actually specific, like, wooden trunks that people used to sell for, like, clothing and such, and some of them had automatic locks on them. Kids would get inside, and then they wouldn't be able to get out, and they actually did suffocate. Like, toy chests and such, the old-fashioned ones with the locking door, or locking trunk. Kids couldn't get out, they suffocated. Why do you think in The Binding of Isaac, there's an ending where Isaac comes out of the box and he's blue in the face? It's because he suffocated inside the box. And that's this dead, airless corpse. Like, yeah, those boxes are dangerous as shit, man, so I can't believe Serge was stupid enough to do that. That was, like, exceptionally dumb. Like, exceptionally. Dude, isn't there, like, 6 endings to that game? One of the goblins looked around the room, jerking its neck as he peered into the shadows. Captain, what if it really was a mouse this time? Chef was grumbling about mouses the other day, Captain. A mouse, a rodent, a rat, with a tiny, teeny thing like that really have sprung the trap, replied a stocky, plump-looking goblin, who must have been the captain. He didn't seem convinced. The most recent is like 24? Jesus Christ, who the fuck needs 24 endings? Wait. Actually,
Chrono Cross has fucking like 11 endings for some goddamn reason, and I don't know why.
That was when I heard a strange but oddly familiar sound from a corner of the room. It was coming from where Kid was hiding. Startled, the troop of goblins stopped and looked at each other. For a moment, none of them spoke. Eventually, the goblin captain rubbed his chin through his jowls and offered his thoughts. Mouses? I'm sure Chef was complaining about cats. Meow? That voice again. Again, silence. The goblins only looked at each other. Funny you should say that. The way I heard it, it wasn't mouses or cats, it was a heckran. An awkward silence followed. In my mind's eyes, I could see Kid racking her brains to work out what a heckran was. I smell a rat, by which I mean a thief. Following the captain's lead, the guards reached for their weapons and then... Heck! Listen, really is a heckran! By heck, that proves it! The goblin guards grinned and nodded to it.
They're so fucking stupid.
That is awesome, holy shit. Cheeky little devil surprised me there. Let's get out of here, boys. The goblins filed out of the vault, and I breathed a sigh of relief. And then they came charging back again with a mighty roar. There's no such thing as heckrans! Ah, you sneaky little buggers! Roared Kid, leaking out from behind a pile of gold coins. God damn it, girl! Why didn't you just go with it? You want to talk, thief? Brandishing their weapons menacingly, the goblins moved slowly forward, forcing Kid into a corner. I slowly eased open the lid to the coffer and slipped out. Can't leave you anywhere, can I? I muttered to myself. I knew Kid could handle herself, but I didn't fancy her odds going against a whole troop of heavily armed goblins. For a moment, I wasn't sure what to do, but then I made up to my mind. I had to save Kid. Alright, I had to save Kid. There's no way I was going to befriend in need. Even if it meant facing off against a troop of 5 goblin guards. I'd find a way to come on top, I hoped. I drew the knife from my belt and leapt into the middle of the room. Hey, snap of brains, it's over here! Brains is not a word. The goblins all turned to look at me at the same time.
10 beady, cruel little eyes staring daggers at me.
Fool, in a hurry to die, are we? I gulped and wondered if making a run for it might have been the better plan of action after all. Humans are so stupid. The goblin captain chuckled and licked his teeth.
Yeah, this one's got a death wish, all right. Why else would he be so stupid as to come after Lord Lynx's treasure?
That'd be a first, being called dumb by wrong fucking voice.
That's a first, being called dumb by a bloody goblin. Try and act tough when you're crying to your mum later on.
Judging by Kid's response, she wasn't feeling massively threatened.
And you tell her it was Kid who kicked your teeth in.
So you're a kid, are you? The sneaky, slippery little thief we heard so much about.
The goblin narrowed his eyes.
Lord Lynx will be thanking me from now until my retirement when I bring him your head on a silver platter. The goblin captain pulled his morning star from his waist and started swinging. Okay, here we fucking go.
You don't know who you're messing with.
Oh.
You don't know who we're messing with. We ain't no ordinary goblins, sweetheart. We're Lord Lynx's elite guard. The goblins that gobble other goblins. That's right, the Gob Squad. Now quit shoot your mouth off and let me stick a boot in it.
And with that, Kid launched into a lightning-fast spinning kick.
Her boot connected with the side of a goblin's head with a crack, sending the creature tumbling to the ground.
Get him, lads! The boy looks scrawny. Start with him!
The goblin captain spun the heavy metal ball of his morning star in the air.
Glorious Gob Strike!
Aye, aye!
The goblins charged across the room in response to their captain's command. Gob Strike incoming! Dodge attack. I swiftly dodged the attack. I tried to, at least! The morning star slammed into my shoulder with a sickening impact. Jesus. I writhed in agony, at the same time trying not to lose sight of where the next blow might be coming from. That's the spirit's prom bag. I ain't done with you yet. Another goblins hesitate for a moment, only to be run through by a spear of pure lightning conjured up by Magil. The goblin let out a blood-curdling howl as electricity coursed through its body. It clutched awkwardly at his chest where it had been struck, its face contorted with agony and horror. Magil's cape fluttered, and his piercing eyes stared coldly at his victim. None who defy me shall escape my wrath. Another goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away! With a growl, it sent its morning star swinging from above. Jump up for a counterattack, fuck it. I was better off attacking than trying for a clumsy dodge, so I tackled the goblin head on, and bounced helplessly off its enormous rock-like body, smashing headfirst into the floor. Not good. Ugh! The shock of the impact jolted through my body. Magil conjured up a black wand, which surged forth like a shearing tempest. Black wind. How's a human know a spell like that? Who are you? The goblin was quickly silenced as the rushing winds tore through it, and it collapsed to the floor with a final shriek. Magil looked down at his victim, his expression unchanged.
Gap strike incoming!
A goblin rushed towards me, readying myself to parry. I just about managed to push my enemy's attack aside and tried to strike back with my knife. Only for the goblin to knock away my attack with the flick of its brawny arm and send me crashing to the ground. God damn it, Surge, you're getting your ass handed to you. Ah! The shock sent a flash of bright white light singing through my head. Magil conjured up the black wind, which surged forth like a shearing tempest.
How does a human know a spell like that? Who are you?
The goblin was quickly silenced as the rushing winds tore through it and it collapsed to the floor with a final shriek. Magil looked down at his victim, expression unchanged. Yeah, wow, it's like, damn, Surge is getting his ass kicked. Musician is like writing his own death notes. Another goblin flew down from overhead. With a growl, it sent his morning star swinging from above. I'm rolling away this time. I rolled across the floor, dodging the attack. The morning star crashed into the flagstones, sending sparks flying. That was a close shave. I made good my escape by rolling forward. Further, clumsily putting some distance between myself and my attacker.
Gap strike incoming!
Dodge. I swiftly dodged. Holy fuck, he actually dodged this time. The morning star pressed past my cheek. I don't know how, but I managed to escape unscathed. I lost my balance though, and I fell clumsily to the floor. Magil conjured up a black wind. Oh god. God damn, Magil. It's just like, you get the push of death, and you get the push of death, and you get the push of death. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, Sevilla gets it. Long live Lord Lynx! Glory to the Gob Squad! And with those final words, the goblin collapsed. That was the last of them. We made it. Piece of cake, said Kid, putting a brave face on things as she wiped the sweat from her brow with her arm. And then she stopped and looked at me. Oh no! Oh no! That's never a good sign. Sorry, I'm just having to take little drinks in here in between.
Serge, what were you thinking, you great Drongo? Getting the goblins to come after you like that? You really didn't have to, you know? Still, thanks. Can't say I wasn't happy to see your crazy arse jump in like that.
She was actually smiling at me. Kid's smile kindled a light inside me, and with it, a peculiar warmth that came in ripples. And then Majel stepped in. Save the chatter for later. We can't waste any more time here. The frozen flame must be somewhere else in the manor.
All right, mate, that's stating the obvious. Not my bloody fault that Lynx has to make things so bloody difficult for everyone.
Kid spun on her heel and made a sulky about face for the door. Suddenly, her attention returned to the pile of defeated goblins.
This bunch of Drongos said they're Lynx's elite guard, right?
Bet they got a nice loot on them. And with that, she started unceremoniously rummaging through the fallen captain's pockets. She was like a hyena sniffing for scraps.
Hello, hello, what's this?
She found an odd metal plate. It resembled an open hand, which was covered in runes.
Reckon this might open some other magic door somewhere? Well, never know when it might come in handy either way. Finders keepers.
The plate vanished into Kid's pocket. I know where the hell that goes.
Looks like there's nothing else worth taking unless you count pock and lint and bits of string.
She rose to her feet and looked around the room.
You know, it's a real shame to leave the rest of this loot just sitting here, unloved.
Yeah, frankly, I want some of that loot myself, pay off my student loans.
I suppose we can come back for it whenever.
Kid turned to face us and flashed a grin.
All right, lads, let's get a move on. It ain't gonna be dark forever.
That hand-shaped plate is our only clue for now, muttered Majil, seemingly to himself. And with that, we left the vault in search of the real frozen flame.
I know where to go. I know where to go. Because I wasted too much time there already.
Terrace or staircase? Staircase. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, back down the stairs. This is the bad one.
Yeah, you read my mind. This place gives me the creeps.
The three of us turned to make our way back down the stairs. Wrong stairs. Down the stairs. And with that, she's going to turn towards Beardy. The hand-shaped plate. I took the hand-shaped metal plate we had found. After taking another look at the runes, I was no closer to figuring out what they might mean. Here goes nothing. I stuck the plate into the mouth of Truth's marble maw. As soon as I did, its eyes rolled upward and the wall gave a slight judder. A low, rumbling sound came from the sculpture's mouth. This, indeed, is the ultimate truth of the universe. Do you hear something? Yeah? I watched the mouth of Truth in confusion. Its great marble tongue lolled out almost like a snake. It coiled around the plate, seizing it and pulling it deep inside. What the... what's going on? In a panic, I looked for Majil for answers. Seems this effable truth of the universe has left even the mouth of Truth tongue-tied. Majil answered in his usual deadpan manner. think he might have been even trying to make a joke. Hang on. So that plaything revealed the truth of the universe? And you went and crammed it down Beardy's gullet? Do you realize how much we could have sold that for? Kid kicked the floor in frustration, snapped her fingers. And then drains on all sides of the room suddenly opened wide. The red water formed eddies as it sank away. Wait, that means that I was right about wanting to cross the atrium at the beginning. Helpless, the pteranodons were washed away with the current. Soon only trickles of water were left, slowly dripping away.
Well, that's a stroke of luck, ain't it? Guess we won't be sleeping with the fishes tonight,
grinned Kid, looking at the empty pool. We crossed the drain room, making for the exit on the other side, and pressed on. Yes! I was right. I'm gonna pull a BRB break because we have been going for like 2 bloody hours. Yeah, no sushi. It happens. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna pull a BRB break. So I will be back in just a few minutes. So if you guys need to go and get yourselves a snack, have a drink, have a sippy, go to the washroom, now is the time to do it. I will see you guys in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm mostly back, but I figure it might be a good idea to have a little chat with our resident cat.
My poom? Yeah. Yeah, murder muffin time. Yes. Meow. Meow. Yes. Oh,
lovely.
Meow. Yes.
Oh, you're such a good girl.
Mm-hmm. Meow. Yes, everybody loves you. Yes. Do you want the couch now? Yeah?
Okay. I'm going to put her on the couch, but I figured she had to come over and say hello.
Yes. Oh, goodness. So much to say. My lovely baby. Here you go. My good girl. And here's your string so you can murder something.
With apples. Okay. Alrighty, let's get back into this, shall we? I'll just throw my earbuds in and we'll get right back into this. She also wants a camera. If I make a cat camera, like, nobody will want me to play the game. They'll just want the cat camera. And now we cross the creepy-ass atrium. We went through the atrium and continued down the corridor before finding ourselves at a fork in the road. The corridor stretched off to the left and the right. We're gonna go left. We continued down the corridor, eventually reaching an old and rather sturdy-looking door. Bloody marvelous. Another bloody door with a bloody magic barrier on it. Wonder what's inside. My sixth sense tells me it ain't treasure. Kid whispers back to us as she examines the door. I suspect that this is the manor's dungeon, replied Majil, his eyes closed in concentration. I can hear the sound of someone moaning in the darkness on the other side. But there's nothing we can do, and thus it is of little concern to us now. Let's turn back. With no way of getting through the door, we retraced our steps down to the corridor. Something tells me we're going to have to free that guy later on. Straight on into the darkness we go. We continued down the dark, dank corridor until some stairs leading downward finally came into view. Slowly, we crept down the staircase, descending steeper into the shadows as we went. Because he's out of chimkin nuggies. Oh god, that's fucking tragic. You're in jail and you can't even get some goddamn chimkin nuggies. Like, what the fuck is the world coming to when you can't get chicken nuggies? Like, damn. At the bottom, we found ourselves in another intersection. The dim, narrow passageway branched to the left and to the right. Right we go. We followed the corridor for a while before coming across a small door. Oh, get a whiff of that. Something smells good, whispered Kid, sniffing the air. Oh, we're going inside. If it's breaking, we're going to get our chimkin nuggies now. We opened the door. Blimey, this is a small kitchen. Why is there a rat in a cage? Must be for the servants, commented Majil. I scanned our surroundings. A basin for washing dishes, cooking utensils, some food made ready for tomorrow, and a mousetrap. Looked like any other commoner's kitchen. Kid walked over to a large pot filled with food and peered inside. Looks like it's tomorrow's lunch. Want to try some, Serge? I am hungry. Timidly, I peered into the pot. It looked like a stew and didn't smell bad at all. Almost inviting. I scooped up some of the ladle and brought it to my mouth. Ooh, good clip. Gulp. It was delicious. Stuff's delicious. You should grab a bowl, Kid. I urged between bites. Kid was looking at me again, staring at me intently. In fact, it was like she was searching for something. Well, you ain't going green or nothing. Guess it's safe. All right, let's have a try. She licked her lips with anticipation and swiped my spoon right out of my hand. She was waiting for us to be poisoned. That fucking bitch. Oh my god, that's funny. Fancy taste, Mag? No. Kid grabbed a bowl from nearby and began spooning out more. I did the same. We ate our fill. The stew was still warm, and felt as though the magic of fresh home cooking was easing my wounds somewhat. Suddenly, a little voice rang out.
You there, young man with the braid.
Man with the braid? Serge doesn't have a braid. Kid froze.
What? Who you calling a bloke?
Oh, can I make Kid? Kid barked angrily in the direction the voice was coming from. A mouse was looking at us with eyes like saucers from the inside of the mousetrap hanging from the wall in the corner of the room.
Oh, I am sorry. You are a young lady, I see.
The mouse bowed its head in apology.
Please, kind young lady, you must hear me out.
The mouse put its paws together and stared pleadingly at Kid.
I left the nest to find food for my mother, but as you can see, I managed to get myself caught in a trap. If you leave me here, I will surely be eaten by goblins.
The kid eyed the little creature suspiciously. Eaten by goblins. Wait, that's stew! Putting two and two together, Kid ran for the stew. Oh, we ate fucking rat stew. Oh, shit. We should have told her it was gross. Oh, fuck. I feel bad. It's also fucking hilarious, but goddamn.
I beg of you, please free me from this trap. My mother is sick, and she'll be terribly worried about what has become of me.
The mouse was clearly begging for its life, but there was also an odd little glint in its eye. Meanwhile, Kid was at the sink.
Oh, I'm never gonna get that taste out of my mouth. I'll be bugging if I'm hanging around here any longer.
Kid had returned from the sink, only to stamp off towards the door. She was looking very green around the gills.
Kindly young lady, I don't suppose you could, free me first?
You got yourself into this mess. You can sort it out yourself.
Kid all but spat the ground as she left the room. The mouse's eyes welled up as it looked at me.
Young man, please, you are my only hope.
I will free the mouse. Fine. Unable to bear it staring at me any longer with those pleading eyes, I lifted down the cage and opened the door. The mouse bounded happily out from inside. The mouse gave a wicked chuckle.
You poor naive fool.
Suddenly its body began to balloon massively in size.
Oi, Serge, what you doing?
Kid stopped in horror the moment she opened the door. Fuck, what the hell did I do?
Bugger me, a griffin!
Oh! The enormous creature stared balefully down at us. How the fuck did a rat turn into a fucking griffin?
Idiots humans, my mother is not sick, but yours will be. What you see is what I've done to you. Good going, Serge, you're a bloody liability, you are.
Okay, maybe I made a mistake, but she didn't have to rub it in like that. The griffin gave an almighty cry and leapt right at us. Its razor-sharp talons sliced through the air, raking down towards me. Jump away with a backstep. Caught off guard, I tried my best to dodge the attack, but the blow never came, as the griffin suddenly lost its balance and came crashing to the ground.
Oh, bother. I'm too hungry to even fight properly.
What on earth? I breathed a sigh of relief, running a hand down my chest. All right, little mouse. Now it's time for the real show to begin. Kid walked up to the griffin, cracking her knuckles.
Please, kindly, young lady, this is all a misunderstanding, a terrible misunderstanding.
Panicking, the creature leapt to its feet.
You can't kill me. I have useful information. If you let me go, I promise I'll tell you everything I know. Everything? Yeah. I know how much a promise for the likes of you is worth.
Kid took another step towards the griffin, not skipping a beat.
Please?
Kid kept on coming. The griffin kept shrinking away.
Enough!
Enough! Majil called for Kid to stop. Let's hear it.
Oh, thank you, kind sir.
The griffin was beside itself with relief.
Spoil my fun, why don't you?
Grumbled Kid, pouting as she turned away.
Listen, wait, O merciful Savior. Right, thrice. Left, thrice. Right, thrice. Should you find yourselves trapped in one of Lynx's swirling snares, remember my words.
Right 3, left 3, right 3. I know, right? Imagine it just kind of shows up. Okay. Somebody, thank you. I was gonna say, somebody remember this shit. No! Guys! I dropped an happy slice! I should probably get it before the cat tries to get it. Shit!
I got it.
It was only a partial happy slice. I managed to put it in a napkin. I did! I literally just zipped back and got the happy slice and zipped in. That was funny. Oh my god, I've never seen that happen before. Somebody clip that. Damn. With that, the griffin returned to its mouse-like form and disappeared into a small hole in the wall. Trapped in Link's snares. As if I'd be thick enough to walk into one of his traps. Let's get out of here. We've wasted enough time already. Kid turned on her heel and made for the door. We left the kitchen. Suddenly, Kid stopped in her tracks. Something's there. I quickly looked to see what it was. There was nothing behind us or in front of us. Where could it be? And then just as I was trying to figure it out, the wall began moving. A rectangular section opened up and swung around, revealing 2 enormous goblins clinging to the back. It was like something from one of those stories about assassins sneaking around old castles. You goblins! Screamed Kid. They definitely looked like goblins to me. Maybe a touch on the large side. There were 4 in total and 2 of us. 2 in front of us and 2 that appeared behind us, cutting off our path of escape. Majil rushed the 2 behind us. Meanwhile, Kid lifted the 2 in front, holding her knife in both hands. I drew my knife and rushed to Kid's side. Crash! The spiked ball of a goblin's morning star smashed into the ground, crushing the stone flooring. Kid nimbly leapt into the air, evading the attack and landing on the goblin's exposed hand. She swung upward towards the goblin's head, plunging her knife into its left eye. Then she flipped backwards and stood ready for the next attack. That was Kid's style. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The next goblin charged in, swinging its morning star towards me. I just jumped back. I'm not nimble enough for that shit. I jumped back to keep my distance. For a moment, I thought about copying Kid's trick, but I did not have the confidence to pull it off. I was better off keeping an eye on the enemy and doing things my own way, though I did wish I could fight like her. The goblin pulled the iron ball out of the floor and came at me, swinging overhead. We're gonna steal the mace. Threw the knife at the goblin's face, squelched as it sang into the creature's right eye. I took the opportunity to slip by, grab its mace as it passed it. It turned, and I heaved the heavy weapon right at its face. It was going so well until it wasn't. The goblin caught the mace just before it struck. Fuck, I really thought that would work. I was in serious trouble. I let go of the mace. Thank you. Infuriated, the goblin charged towards me, holding its weapon aloft. I was left unable to defend myself, having thrown my knife at it just previously. Take mine! A knife flew through the air behind, but towards me. I grabbed it and leapt forward, closing the distance between myself and the goblin. Just as it was bringing its mace down, I plunged the blade deep in its chest. Get down! I dropped to my knees in reflex, and a split second later, I felt something graze above the top of my head. When I looked up, the goblin was lying dead on the floor in front of me, and Kid was standing there, mace in hand. Holy fuck, Kid nearly smashed our skull in. Had I ducked a moment later, that would have been my head. I looked at the goblin's mangled face as its heavy body rolled across the floor. Ugh. That was somehow more terrifying than when it was alive. I was starting to feel a little worse for wear. I was going to have to be more careful from now on, or this was going to end badly. Well, that was another fine bloody mess. What did we even bring you for, Surge? Dude, quit dissing Surge! Kid's cold stare pierced through me like a javelin made of ice. Leaving the room behind us, we took a right turn down the corridor. We followed it for a while before coming to an intersection. The way to the left ended with a staircase going up. The corridor also continued directly ahead. I know, right? We continued on down the corridor until it ended at a large door covered in scratches and rather odd marks. Above the door was a wooden plate. It bore the legend Guard Room in elaborate calligraphy. Well, well, reckon this might be where to find the key to the door upstairs? No getting past the bloody magic barrier without it. Kid pressed an ear to the door and listened carefully. Doesn't sound like anyone's in there, she whispered. Okay. Here we go. Kid opened the door. The room had seemed completely silent from the outside. So we thought it would be empty, but inside was a lone goblin. It was sitting in a chair with a book in its hand. A light stream drifted from the teacup and the table in front of it, and with it a delicate aroma. Why does it have spectacles? The goblin peered curiously over its spectacles. Apparently, there was something different about this one. I could tell as much with a glance. Heavens. How rare is it to have guests? Heavens? How well spoken for a goblin. I can only feel dread and suspicion at the sight of him, nonetheless. Sorry, Mabel, but you're not your guests. Cough up the key to the dungeon if you want to live. Kid slammed her knife into the table to illustrate her point, but the goblin didn't so much as flinch. Ah, you must be Kid. What a pleasure this is. I have always so wanted to meet you. Why, you're even more ravishing than the rumors would. Before the goblin could finish, Kid's knife flew through the air. With a quick flick of his wrist, the goblin caught the blade with the back of his book a mere inch from his face. Damn, this goblin's got moves. I see your approach is as radical as the name of your merry band would suggest, the goblin said, pulling the knife free and handing it back to Kid. She took it without a word, but her gaze had changed. She was like a cat, cautiously studying its prey. And I was just getting to the good part too. Oh well, I suppose I will have to give up on ever finishing it now. The goblin casually flung the book over his shoulders and into a nearby bin. Well, I mean, you could just read back to where you were, dude. Like, damn. Allow me to introduce myself, if I may. I am Grismeld, and I am the guard on watch. No need to stand. Please, do take a seat. You are welcome to tea, of course. The goblin beckoned us to sit down. Did he mean to poison us? If I may. Majil calmly took a seat, ignoring the obvious suspicion in the air. I sit down next to Majil, or I look at Kid. What should I do? I decided to trust Majil's instincts and took a seat next to him. He had some kind of plan in mind, I was sure of it. Kid didn't look like she'd be pulling up a chair anytime soon. She was standing with her arms crossed, eyeing the goblin suspiciously. The goblin poured 3 cups of tea. Here you are. Nice. Without the slightest hints of hesitation, Majil took a teacup and lifted it to his lips. He sipped and placed the cup back on the saucer. Here, Malayan tea. Not a brand I expect to find here. What a pleasure to encounter a fellow connoisseur. Yes, it is a rare blend, and one mainly enjoyed by noble classes. I couldn't believe the conversation I was hearing, but I also couldn't help wondering what this rare tea might taste like. My eyes rested on the cup that had been poured for me. I couldn't shake the fear it might be poison, but I also couldn't ignore how delicious it smelled. Before I knew it, the cup was in my hands. This is great, I blurted out. I'd never had such a delicious brew in my entire life. My aches and pains faded away. I glanced over at Kid, who was blowing manically at the liquid in her cup. I'd forgotten that she was paranoid about burning her mouth on things. Now that we're comfortable, let's get down to brass tacks, as they say. I do indeed have the key to the dungeon, as you surmise, but you'll have to be aware that I cannot simply give it away. I glanced over to Kid again. Typical, she wasn't listening a word Grismel was saying. She was still huffing and puffing in her tea. It seems to be up to me to respond. I suppose that means you want something in return. Let's be nice, dude. Let's be nice to this guy. You'd like to know what I want? I want your heads. Grismeld's eyes glistened by his spectacles. I pulled out my knife. Or rather, I'm sure that's what my employer would have me say, but no. I've no such barbarous aspirations. Furthermore, I doubt I'd be a match for you. Grismeld chuckled as he said this. What I live for is the joy of conversation, which I fear my compatriots are ill-equipped to supply. Perhaps you might have one or two yipping yarns to share? Grinning, he added, I'm sure notorious thieves such as yourselves must have more than a few thrilling tales up your sleeves. So you wanted to hear a story? Seemed like a more than fair price to pay for the key. I closed my eyes and thought, I know just the story. How did it begin? One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. And then, she was searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure her sick mother's illness. Okay, then, the sunflower was nowhere to be found. The fragments I remembered seemed about right. There was only one way the story could end. I took a breath and began my tale. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She was searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure her mother's illness. She walked and walked, but the sunflower was nowhere to be found. And then, in a moment of her darkest despair, she saw a brilliant light. It was none other than the golden sunflower she sought. The young girl gratefully pocketed the sunflower seeds. These will surely save my mother, she thought. She rushed home to give them to her, and her dear mother was hale and hearty once more within days. They all lived happily ever after. Okay, cute. Probably not what the guy wanted, but cute. That was beautiful, murmured Kid, wiping a tear from her eye. Grismeld frowned. Not quite what I was expecting, and not the most riveting of tales, but I suppose it will do. The key is promised. I took it from Grismeld's hand. Something didn't seem right, though. Was he really going to give it up so easily? And was it really alright to trust such a strange goblin? Grismeld seemed to notice my suspicion. He leaned back into his chair, looking at the ceiling. When I was a young tyro, a brave or stupid goblin, I once served General Viper, who was the lord of this manor until his betrayal by Lord Lynx. Despite my boorishness, Lady Riddell always saw something in me worthy of praise. Wait, Riddell? What's Lynx's adopted daughter got to do with anything? Oh, you didn't know? Riddell's real father was none other than General Viper himself. What? Lord Lynx spared Lady Riddell's life as to not snuff out that of the frozen flame. Excuse me? Not snuff out the frozen flame. It was an uncanny stone, you see. Has a life of its own and some type of spiritual bond with Lady Riddell. If only there was some other way I could free my lady from the manor. Alas, I alone am powerless to do any such thing. Of course, I would have no qualms to see if you were to topple the usurper. I assume you intend to slay the old beast, I mean. It's a strange inquiry to make so casually. Well, I mean, if it comes to it. I was more than a little taken aback by the directness of Grismel's question. I never expected to find one of Lynx's old guards asking me something like that. Suddenly, I was shoved aside.
Not if it comes to it. We're gonna kill him tonight and kill him good.
It was Kid, of course.
And, in exchange, I'll have more of that tea to take with us.
Kid held out her hand before Grismel could offer an answer. I suppose I have a bag I can share. Grismel shuffled awkwardly in his seat as he retrieved it. As ever, I was impressed at how Kid's uncompromising attitude and willingness to speak her mind seemed to always get her what she wanted.
Ponza, sit tight and leave the rest to us, mate.
Stowing the bag in her pocket, Kid took the job.
You can trust me. I'm a girl of my word.
That might have been the biggest lie she'd ever told. Right, let's get moving. She made it for the door with a spring in her step. We left the room, and Grismel behind. Interesting. We left the room and took a left turn down the corridor. We followed it for a while before coming to an intersection. The way to the right ended to a staircase going up. The corridor also continued slightly ahead, but that way was completely enshrouded in darkness. Alright, so if we go upstairs or towards the kitchen. If I go back towards the kitchen. No, we have to go up the stairs. When we reached the top, we found ourselves in a long, straight corridor. We continued on. Fork in the path. Back to the atrium or to the old sturdy door. We continued down the corridor, eventually reaching an old and rather sturdy-looking door. Right. The key we got from that creepy old goblin should do the trick. Kid slipped the key into the lock. The heavy door groaned slightly as it slowly swung open. Clammy air rose around our feet, as if crawling blindly through the darkness. This didn't seem like the kind of place anyone in their right mind would visit voluntarily. Oh! We pushed the heavy iron door the rest of the way open and stepped into the darkness. There was a row of cells, all locked behind iron bars. 1, 2. Oh, Gulliver, McHild, Zoranda, forgive me, please. Please forgive me. We heard a voice from the third cell, whimpering and crying pathetically. I strained my eyes to look inside. Faintly in the darkness, I could see something that looked like a man sitting on the floor. So this was the source of the voice. Oi! You alright, mate? Kid called out to the figure. Forgive me. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. The dragoons never deserve this. General, Lady Riddell, oh, forgive me, I beg of you. The old man didn't seem to respond to us at all. He only sat facing the wall, begging forgiveness for who knows what. Hello? Can you hear me? Asked Kid, trying again. There'll be no getting through to him. Oh, there'll be no getting through to him. His real self will have long since retreated to the shell he has created, said Majil, cutting her off. Shell? What do you mean? I asked. He has built a shell around the core of his psyche in order to shield himself from the truth. He is running from something. Something terrible. He has seen something or been through something. Or has done something. And so he has created his own world on the inside as a final refuge. The outside world lost to him forevermore. I looked at Majil in surprise. I detected a hint of unspoken sadness in his words. And for some reason he was looking at Kid, watching over her as she stared at the man in the cell. Seeming to notice my gaze, Majil turned back to face me, assuming his usual emotionless expression once more. We live in a world of sorrow and foolishness. It's only inevitable as some would try to escape it. But despite his hard words, his eyes restrained a certain softness, his steely gaze giving way to a gentle light. Do you understand? Do we understand, or should we ask him to be more specific? I think I understand. I gave a slightly evasive answer. You seem confused. Yeah, exactly, like, damn. I don't blame you. You'll come to understand eventually. Majil looked at me and Kid. What was that all about, I wondered. We're not gonna get much out of him. He's miles away. Let's leave me and try somewhere place else. Kid made for the door of the dungeon. Wait, called Majil. We must find a way to get this man to speak. What for? I mean, he's speaking already, just none of it makes sense. What are you after? Some things he said piqued my curiosity. He mentioned the dragoons and Riddell, too. So? You said the dragoons are ancient history, snapped Kid. Besides, how can we trust anything he says? He's clearly gone off his rocker. She had a point. The old man had long since cut his ties to the real world, so what did Majil expect him to say? Without missing a beat, Majil replied, We simply have to bring him back to reality. And how are we gonna do that? You want me to do a little dance for him or something? See if that gets his motor going? Oh no! Do we stay silent and see if she'll dance or tell her to not do it? Yes, dance? We go, yes, silence? Yes, silence. Nice. I knew if I said anything, I'd get nothing but an earful of a lifetime in return, so I clamped my hands over my mouth to save myself.
What are you playing at, Serge?
Kid seemed unimpressed. That was a close one. I don't think that would work, said Majil dryly. Kid's fist flew straight towards his face. But Majil shifted his weight effortlessly, avoiding the attack, and continued. We must break through the shell he has created and drag him back to the real world. In order to do that, we'll need some kind of key. Something that will reach him through the barrier he's erected.
Yeah, where are we gonna find this key?
Asked Kid suspiciously. I don't know, came Majil's simple reply. But there is someone in this manor who can tell us.
You don't mean... You're not talking about Riddell, are you?
I am, Majil replied with a nod.
Alright, fine. Don't know what the heck you expect her to tell us, though.
Kid turned on her heel and made for the door. We left the gibbering old man in the dungeon, alone with his sorrow. Okay, now we have to go back to Riddell's room. I know, I kind of wanted Kid to dance too. Branch in the path, atrium fountain, stairs going down. We're going to the atrium. Atrium was coming to view. We arrived back at the atrium. An exit leading to Link's and Riddell's rooms. Okay, continue. Continue.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Glowy wiggle, glowy wiggle, glowy wiggle, glowy wiggle.
There you go, you get your wiggles. Path ahead. Ornate door is Link's. Okay, here's Riddell's room. We found ourselves in a tiny, welcoming room.
Is someone there?
Came the voice of a young woman. We shrank into the shadows. The woman appeared from deeper within the room. She was lightly made up, with a gentle, unthreatening air about her. It was Lynx's daughter.
Strange. I'm sure I heard someone.
I was at a loss of what to do for a moment, but before I'd had much to hold my breath, Kid had already darted over and thrust her knife out, stopping the blade only a hair's breadth from the woman's neck. Jesus Christ, girl, have some chill. Fuck me, this is a young lady. Holy shit. God.
Where's the frozen flame?
Answer me. Her voice came out in a harsh growl. I rushed in to hold Kid back before she hurt the poor woman. Kid, do you really have to do this way?
Shut your trap, Serge.
Riddell couldn't help but giggle as she watched us bickering.
What are you laughing at?
Kid shot Riddell a harsh look.
It's just, you don't seem like thieves at all.
You want me to cut you, girl?
I'd be surprised if that knife could cut anything. For a moment I felt faint, imagining Riddell on the floor covered in blood. But then, a clang. Kid had thrown her knife to the floor, and I saw it was only a letter opener.
Didn't think you noticed. Whatever. I'm not here to mess around killing the likes of you anyway.
I have no desire for bloodshed either, said Riddell in a voice that was almost a whisper. I'm not your enemy. In fact, I want to help you. There wasn't a hint of hesitation or deception in her voice. Let me guess. You're trapped in the manor too? Riddell only lowered her eyes sadly in response to Kid's question. Oh, Kid said that.
The frozen flame should have never been allowed to fall into Lynx's hands.
Riddell spoke quietly, but the deep emotion clearly underpinned her words. The flame was once a property of an ancient kingdom to the north, who kept it for generations. It was said to have the uncanny power to guide people and change history itself. After the kingdom fell, the flame changed hands countless times, until eventually it came into my father's possession. That was before I was born. Sometimes later, Lynx became aware of the flame's true value, and he approached my father under false pretenses
of friendship.
Not a soul suspected what his true intentions were. And then, on that horrible day, he destroyed everything. He killed everything. Riddell shook her head and buried her face in her hands. I don't care about the frozen flame. I don't care about this stupid accursed stone. It means nothing to me. I just want to take it away from Lynx and smash it to pieces right in front of him. And only we can make that happen. And only we can make that happen. Riddell looked up with surprise as Majil spoke. No one else in the world can seize that jewel from Lynx. Riddell stared speechlessly. And then in a low voice she whispered, What can I do to help you? There's a survivor of the Acadia Dragoons in the dungeon, who we want to help. And if we are to help him, we need your help, said Majil, taking a step forward. What? That man is a traitor! It's because of him, my father, that Zoranda... Please, it is the only way. Riddell turned her back to us and held her head low. Why the fuck is she blonde? She's blue in Chrono Cross. The Chamber of Death. There might be something to bring him back to his senses there. After all, it was there he chose to abandon his pride, his life. I assume the Chamber of Death must be the cell with the trapped ceiling? Riddell nodded. Yeah. That's gonna be a problem, started Kid. That thing damn near killed us last time. You'll have to take the Endlancer with you. It's a sacred sword that's been forged by ancient sages, and a sister blade to the crimson cursed Masamune. The timeless blessings of the Endlancer will surely keep you safe from the Chamber of Death's wickedness. It used to be a sight to see in the hands of Zoranda. It danced like the wind, shone like the stars, and struck like lightning. Lost again in her memories of fonder times, Riddell once more bowed her head. Forgive me, I have little more to tell you. You've told us more than enough. We'll take our leave now, said Majil, turning and making for the door. Pistachio ice cream. I wish I had the strength to change things like you do, whispered Riddell, biting her lip. Kid hesitated for a moment, seemingly deep in thought. It ain't about strength. It's about having a purpose, something to fight for. I will be praying for you. Kid shot Riddell a look over her shoulder. Great, maybe you can cross your fingers too. We left the room. Okay. The death room is past Lynx's room. Oh, so it was at the end of the hallway. Stairs going upward. Towards the terrace. This is the clock tower again. I'm gonna check the clock tower one more time. In we go. Oh, you're back from a burb. Okay. There it is. Our tickets are not getting turned into mincemeat. Oh, shit. The ancient sword was right where Kate had left it after pulling it from the pile of junk. She ran over to where it lay. Looking down at the store, Miguel muttered, 2 ancient blades. The sacred Enlanza and the cursed Masamune. What are you on about, Mac? You know something about the Master Moon? Master Moon, eh? Majil said nothing. Well, it seems to mean something to you. It does. Uh-huh. Something to do with old friends I don't know about? Not exactly. An enemy, then? Not exactly.
You're being weird, Meg.
Yeah, it's fucking cursed in Chrono Cross.
Whatever. Oh, and numbnuts. Grab this thing for me, will you?
I was still standing by the doorway when he followed over to me. Me?
Yeah, you. Or were you gonna make me lug the bloody thing around the place? I'm just a scrawny little girl, ain't I? Call yourself a gentleman.
A scrawny little... My jaw just dropped. I knew there wasn't anything I could say to her. Silently, I walked over to Kid and picked up the sword like I was told. Whoa! I nearly fell over. That thing was heavy.
Good boy. Right. On to the Chamber of Death. Eyes on the prize, lads.
Dragging the sword behind me, I followed Kid out of the room. Depths of the manor. We go, right. Skookum door, that's the treasure room. Continue on. Foot of the stairs. Here we go.
Well, this place is creepy as I remember. Lovely.
Grumbled Kid. She was looking at the stains on the wall. The ceiling had been pulled back up, but there was no reason to believe it might not come grinding down again at any moment. Bearing in mind what Rodella told us the room was called, it definitely wasn't somewhere we wanted to linger. Yeah, pretty much. Quickly, hissed Majel before crouching down and examining the ground for clues. Kid and I crouched down too. What were we even looking for, though? What could the old man have left in this room that would help us bring him back to reality? The flagstones of the floor were smeared with black gooey substance, which gave off an odd, rotten aroma. I shook my head, trying to drive an uncomfortable thought from my mind. Kid saw me and clearly wasn't doing much better herself. She slowly turned, positioning herself so that she was facing away from the stains on the wall. There was no point in thinking like that. I had to try, but then... Fuck! The door slammed shut, and the gears ground to life.
Here we bloody go again. We have to stop it. If we don't deal with the trap, we'll never find what we're looking for.
Some bitch. Not good. The ceiling sank lower and lower. We ducked our heads, desperately trying to avoid the blaze that jutted out from the bottom. Kid looked at me and screamed, "The sword! Use the Lanza!" What? How do you use a sword? I punched the sword to Kid! Ceiling!
Alright, let's see if this legendary sword can smash through the ceiling.
I jabbed the Lanza upward with all my might. Clang! It pinged hard off the countless blades flashing down from above, throwing me to the floor. Ow! Okay, into the ground. There! I drove the sword into the floor with all my might. A shock ran through the room. Beams of light scattered from the blade, covering the floor and walls, and then racing upward. The ceiling gave an almighty judder and then stopped. We made it! I sank to the floor helplessly, my heart racing. Hey, what's that? Kid was pointing at a part of the wall. It was where I'd seen the message written in blood. Guess what we found what we're looking for. Part of the wall had collapsed, revealing a cavity behind, and what had looked like a piece of solid stone. Inside, I could see something glinting faintly in the darkness. Kid reached in with her fingertips, carefully extracting whatever it was from within. It was a slender ring, with a delicately engraved design that looked like overlapping ferns. The ring was adorned with several small rubies in a pattern that resembled a bunch of grapes. The crest of Acadia. This must be an Acadian signet. Kid put the ring on her middle finger, where it sat uneasily. It didn't seem to be her size. The rubies gave off an eerie glint. Right. Let's not spend any more time in here while we have to. We managed to foil the trap and receive the Acadian signet. I left the Lanza where it stood, and we exited the room. Why the fuck would you leave the sword? Like, that sword was awesome. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. We went down the stairs and continued straight ahead, eventually coming across a sturdy-looking door on our right. Continue on. Continue on. Keep following the corridor. Down the stairs. I'm like mentally mapping all this shit out. It's hard. Atrium. Towards the dungeon. Suddenly, Kid stopped in her tracks. Oh shit. Something's here. I quickly looked around to see what it was. There was nothing behind us or in front of us. Where could it be? And then just as I was figuring it out, the wall began moving. Shit! More goblins? Here we go. Same thing as before. Alright, let's see how I do this time. You know what? I'm gonna copy Kid's trick. If she could do it, so can I. I jumped the moment just before the attack landed. The Morning Star crashed into the stone tiles, and all I had to do was land on the goblin's hand and finish it off with my knife. I swung my knife upward, plunging it into the goblin's left eye. Then I flipped backward, readying myself for the next attack. My heart was racing. I've done it! I actually managed to copy Kid's trick! I'd always admired the way she fought. I'd always wished I could fight like her, and finally my dream had come true. I'd really done it! Not that, mate. A compliment from Kid. It was the happiest moment of my life.
Wipe that whimpering look off your face. We're in the middle of a bloody fight.
I should have lasted. Here they come. She was right. This was life or death. My moment of happiness would have to wait. Battle with rage charged toward me. I'm gonna dodge it. I deflected the goblin's driving strike up towards the ceiling and aimed an almighty blow at its face with my foot. My momentum unbroken, I turned full circle in the air and landed perfectly back on my feet, immediately moving in to thrust my dagger deep into his chest. Shock!
The blade sank up to the hilt.
Ow! We are kicking ass today. The hell? I leapt forward, trying to put some space between us. Sensing danger, I jumped back. The goblin's hand grabbed uselessly as the air where I've been standing. Oh, absolute simp, like 110%. He should be hard. Had it been a moment later, it would have caught me. I was dealing with a monstrously persistent foe. Without having spent the last of his strength, the goblin lost its balance and collapsed to the floor where it succumbed to its wounds. Fucking A, that was good shit. I realized then everything was quiet. All the quiet fighting had ended. It must have been the last goblin. I'd taken a few knocks, but that was alright. A scrape or two wouldn't stop me.
Well, that was another fine bloody mess. What were we even bringing you for, Serge?
Dude! Why are you saying that? Oh. This place again. I hope this was the last time I'd have to come here. Having retrieved the Akkadian signet, we returned to the old man's cell. As soon as we got there, Magills took a step forward and grabbed onto the bars. They creaked and groaned as he heaved on them, gritting his teeth as he summoned every ounce of his might. Slowly, they bowed apart. Jesus fucking Christ. He stepped into the cell through the gap, and Kid and I followed. The old man was exactly where we left him, staring into space and muttering meaningless words. Kid walked over to him and crouched down. She grabbed him by the collar and yelled at him,
"Wakey, wakey, Granddad! We got a few questions for you. Here, get an eyeful of this.
Ring the bells, Kid waved the Akkadian signet in his face, shaking him roughly all the while. The old man's head lolled as he limply allowed himself to be manhandled. I get Magill to stop her. I looked at Magill in horror. Is this how we're going to break through his shell? Fear not. This approach is as good as any. Do we have a right to drag the poor man back to reality like this? Hasn't he suffered enough? I am prepared to do anything to achieve our goal. Magill stared right through me with that ice-cold glaze. Oh, An Acadian signet, the symbol of our vows, bestowed only upon sworn Acadian dragoons. A low voice, almost a moan. I spun around in surprise. His eyes began to cloud once more. So my former allies have finally come for me. I am to blame. It is because of my indiscretion that the frozen flame was stolen and all of the Acadian dragoons. Only I remain here in the manor. But now all is well, for you have returned. Oh, Zegdin, Milkit, Zaranda, where have you been all this time? Did you all return to Lake Stoic?
Never mind that, Granddad. Where's the frozen flame? Give us a clue. Anything. Come on, out with it.
I couldn't decide if kids sounded any more annoyed or desperate. The frozen flame? The old man looked momentarily confused. And then a wan smile. Wan smile? Warm smile? Wan smile? Is that a translation error? The fuck is a wan smile? My word. Lady Riddell. It's been far too long since last I had the pleasure. Why, you only need to turn the third candlestick from the left as you enter the main hall. That will open the underground vault, as you know. Kid wrapped her arms around the old man and held him tight. And then in a trembling voice she whispered,
I'm sorry. I promise we'll get it back.
The man recoiled in horror and then began to sob once more. I am to blame. This is all my fault. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Look, you want to get out of here, now's your chance.
But it was no use. He was too busy cowering and wailing to hear me. We're done here, Serge. We can't help him. And there's things we need to be doing. Thank you, I whispered to the old man before following Kid and Majil out of the dungeon. Oh, it's a tired one. Oh, okay. Thank you for explaining. We came to a branch in the path. Atrium, stairs going down. Okay, we need to go to the atrium because it's in the main hall. Right towards the stairs. We need to go towards the main hall. Okay, here we go. Kid pushed open the heavy door as quietly as she could and peered inside. Back to creepy ass room. Looks like the coast is clear. We stepped into the main hall. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light. The great hall was filled with a heavy silence, a silence unbroken save for the ticking of a large clock that slowly counted the passage of time as if waiting for something. Several portraits glared down on us with cold eyes. We moved through the feeble glow of the candles. Third candlestick from the left, whispered Kid. 1, 2, 3. There! She reached out towards it. I held my breath as I watched. Say your prayers, Lynx. We're coming for you. Kid turned the candlestick. The room trembled with a sudden rhythmic rumbling, as if a massive gear was turning. What's that? For a moment I felt a strange sensation as if I was floating. Do you feel that? I started to stagger. The entire room seems to be moving downward, came the reply from Majil. I couldn't quite believe it, but I also couldn't deny the feeling of downward motion. The main hall was sinking into the earth. And then another rumble. The room's descent rapidly accelerated. Jesus Christ. A cold sweat dripped from my back. My heart filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. What was waiting for us down there? The frozen flame? Our prize at the end of this little adventure, but what was it really? Would it live up to our expectations? I tightened my fists, which were slick with sweat. But we're killing Majil thinking. room remained veiled in silence. Oh! Excuse me? This is Girl Who Stole the Stars. This song is Girl Who Stole the Stars. I know this song way too fucking well. God damn, this is a good one. As if in response to my thoughts, a quiet voice came from next to me. Sometimes It was Kid. I looked over to see her standing stiffly, staring forward with her hands clenched into fists. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in a losing battle. A fight I never win, no matter what I do. It was a side of her I'd never witnessed before. Even from this angle, I could see fear and doubt flickering across her face. I felt a tender sting in my heart. What are you fighting? What are you fighting against? Good question. Fate, maybe? Life, even? Not sure if I can put the finger on it exactly. It ain't Lynx. I mean, sure, I'm here to fight him, but that's different. It ain't clear cut like that. I feel like there's another me inside me. One that's just sitting there, looking out at how empty and pointless everything I do is. It's the best way I can describe it, anyhow. Listen to me. Lot of bloody nonsense, eh? She smiled ruefully. I didn't know exactly what she meant, but I felt like I knew broadly what she was getting at. She may have talked tough, but underneath it all, she felt fear and uncertainty just like the rest of us. I mean, it was no great revelation in and of itself, but hearing her say it out loud gave me a strange sense of relief. I stole another sidelong glance at her. Her expression was different, more mature, somehow. Sorry, mate. You didn't need to hear that. Not exactly my trademark Brando cam-free banter, eh? She stuck out her tongue. Normal service had been resumed. Or it seemed for a second. Thanks, Serge. And you, Mag, she said suddenly, serious again. Couldn't have made this far without you both. Listen, if we don't... After this, I mean, if we don't get another chance to... Huh? You know what? Forget it. She closed her eyes and forced a smile. I wasn't sure how to respond, so true to form, I just stared at her some more. I could have sworn I caught a flicker of a grin across Majill's face, too. He was standing just at the edge of my field of vision, arms crossed and eyes closed. But maybe it was just my imagination? A contemplative silence descended as the hall continued its journey down to the bowels of the manor. A crash split the silence, as if we collided with something. Yeah, it's called the floor of the hall evader. A loud, metallic scraping filled the air. The room rocked and finally came to a halt. Looks like the end of a line. I'll change. Ooh! The swelling grandeur of the organ suddenly fills the air. Holy fuck. No one had so much touched it, and yet the keys and pedals were moving all by themselves. The melody it played was both unsettling and sad. Funeral tune, is it? Way to greet your guests. Kid took a long stride forward and then turned to face me and Majill. Come on, let's go. Majill and I gently nodded our assent. Kid grinned and then turned back to the door. I'm coming for you, Lynx. This is the end for you. And with that, she led us from the hall. And with that, I have no fucking idea how to get around anymore. We continued down a long, dark corridor, the walls slick with condensation. The air was thick and heavy, as though ripe with the stench of death. We were really getting close to Lynx's hidden vault at last. And was there any turning back now for, any of us? There was something strange about Kid that night. Majill didn't seem to be his usual self either. To begin with, it was vanishingly rare for him to speak so much, let alone to show any kind of emotion. What happened to make them change like that? Unable to take the silence anymore, I decided to speak. I had to ask the question that had been mine all this time. Why do you want the frozen flame so badly? All I got in reply was a cold echo of her footfalls. I should have known. She didn't like to talk about her reasons for doing things. After all, it was a topic that was likely to lead to a discussion of her past. But then she spoke, though it was almost a whisper. I'm doing it for Sis. Before she died, she told me to find the frozen flame and bury it. Bury it where? Her old mate's grave. Her kid looked at her feet as she walked. She wasn't my real sister, but she was as good as family to me. When she took me in, I was bloody helpless. Couldn't remember a thing and was barely old enough to survive on my own. She didn't go into too much detail about who her mate was. She didn't go into too much detail about who her mate was. Best I can remember is she needed to find the grave of a girl who married another mate of hers and died not long after. She said that's where the frozen flame should be laid to rest or something like that. To be honest, I wasn't paying much attention to the time. It's not like I could have known what was about to happen. When she disappeared and I realized she wasn't coming back though, I swore I'd make good on what she asked me to do. I'd nab that frozen flame for that rat bastard Lynx and get my revenge. Kid's eyes almost seemed to glow in the heat and the cold night air. I'll make him pay for everything he's done. No matter what it takes, even if it kills me. Holy fuck. And then she fell silent. Sorry, kid. I didn't mean to bring up something so painful. There was a pause before she replied. Nah, you're alright. I should have said something sooner before I roped you into this. Sorry. Silence reigned supreme as I fumbled around to try and find something to say in reply. But all that filled the darkness of the corridor was the sound of yet more footsteps. Suddenly, Majil stopped in his tracks. Wait! Huh? Kid turned around puzzled. Just then, a powerful light surged across the floor, and a ring-shaped sigil appeared. Damn it! A blood circle! Kid and Majil were at least quick enough to try and jump clear. They weren't quite quick enough. The three of us were trapped in the circle of blinding light. Oh, hey, here's a freaking spance-ass bat. Why is Serge blonde? The sigil rotated left and right with us at the center, cutting off all routes of escape. Wow, they really went all out for this. Holy shit. Also, pretty sure this just confirms that Majil is Guile, and Guile is Magus. And, like, Serge, your fucking outfit sucks, dude. Clearly, you got one hell of an update between here and Chrono Cross. Damn. Yeah, we're trapped! A wall of heat and wind blew up around us, and swirling lines and spirals of light assailed us wherever we turned. Don't let the light mesmerize you! Cover your eyes! Shouted Majil, raising a hand over his mask. Turn with the light, not against it! There has to be a way out! What? I barely even understand what's going on. Kid's elbow brushed against the wall of light surrounding us, sending sparks flying. Ugh. Oh yeah, he looks nothing like in Cross. Be careful. Merely to touch it is more than enough to harm you. Stay well back. Slowly I turned my body to follow the movements of the ring of light, looking for a gap to escape through. I turned right 3 times. 3 steps to the right. There, I see it. That's our way through. I found a gap in the wall of light and carefully walked through it. Kid, Majil, this way! We managed to get through the barrier unscathed. Oh fuck, this is the thing. But we weren't out of the woods yet. There's still another wall of light swirling with a great wind in front of us. It was 333. Wasn't it 333? It's 2 left, 2 right. It's 323? It was 322. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna try left twice. 2 steps to the left. There, I see it. That's our way through. Damn it. Nice one. And then right 2. 2 steps to the right. There, I see it. Damn, man, thank you so much. Holy shit, that was awesome. Suddenly, my body felt light. I staggered 2 or 3 steps forward. We were back in the deserted passageway we'd been walking down before the blood circle had appeared. The sigil had vanished from the floor, and everything was silent as if nothing had ever been amiss. And then I looked up. Looks like we finally made it, boys. Kid strolled up to the door with a wicked grin on her face. The true frozen flame awaits. Majil's eyes gave a glint from behind his mask, like glass catching moonlight in the darkness of night. Let's go. Kid reached for the handle. So this is the place, huh? Kid narrowed her eyes, straining to see our surroundings in the darkness. A vast, pitch-black expanse surrounded us whichever way we looked. It was as if we'd entered an impossibly vast cave. We were in a place forgotten by time, unknown to the world, hidden deep within the bowels of night. No, we're not doing Accra Ulna battles. No. That was fucking bullshit last time, okay? Remy was goddamn insane with that fight. Yeah, that does look like the Frozen Flame, or at least this game's variant of the Frozen Flame. It looks completely fucking different in Cross. A gentle crimson light hovered in the darkness. The Frozen Flame. Alright, now it's ours. The light of the flame ebbed and waned gently, as if responding to Kib's force. The heck is this place? There's mountains of bloody rubble anywhere. I have no idea where the sound font is coming from. One sec. Possibly Fort Dragonia? Possibly part of Chronopolis. Majils took a step forward into the room and said in a whisper that was almost a groan. No, it can't be. But it is. The ruins of the lost kingdom of mages. Oh, this is Zeal! Oh, fuck me! This is fucking Zeal? Holy shit! The voice drifted down through the darkness from above. Kid looked up in shock. Lynx! I'll kick your flea-bitten arse so hard you'll kiss the moon! Kid pulled her knife from her belt and threw it as hard as she could. It fell to the floor with a bang, as if knocked out of the air by some unseen hand. Still the same impetuous child as ever, I see. That's no way to greet an old friend. Smarmy bastard! Kid gritted her teeth with rage. And you, Shadow Dweller, I'll have none of your tricks this time. You must think me a fool if you believe I'd fall for that again. Majil, who had been quietly slipping into the darkness that surrounded us, stopped dead in his tracks. So this was the infamous Lynx. Oh shit, he looks way different than he does in Cross. Jesus Christ. Why is that not surprising me now? The lord of this deadly manor, the man who had murdered the closest thing Kid had to a family, who had assassinated General Viper and eradicated the Order of the Arcadia Dragoons. A pleasure as always, my dear Kid. And I must say, you followed the trail of breadcrumbs I laid out for you admirably closely, my greedy little sneak thief. What in the bloody... She stepped forward, bristling. Lynx narrowed his eyes and lips twisted into a snarl. You know what I want, Kid. Give me the stone you carry. Stone? Did Kid have some kind of jewel I didn't know about?
Don't know what you're on about, mate.
She just about managed to recover her composure, narrowing her eyes scornfully at her old foe. Spare me that child! I know that you have it. I know she gave it to you. Hand over the time egg now. A what? 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 Time egg? Excuse you? Last time I checked, Kid did not have a time egg. She has an astral amulet. The fuck you talking about a time egg? I am concerned. The what? Whatever it was, I'd never heard of it. Well, I mean, I've heard of it.
She's dreaming if I think I'll give it to the likes of you.
Kid shot back.
It's all I have left of her. I'll never let it go. Not for anyone, and definitely not for you. Now, I'll tell you what's gonna happen, you bastard. First, I'm gonna take the frozen flame, and then I'm gonna ram it down your throat.
Incorrigible young fool. I was hoping this might be a civilized exchange. Alas, it seems my words will only fall on deaf ears, and you are determined to repeat your past errors. Lynx moved his hand to the grip of the ornate golden saber that hung from his belt. Last time I showed you mercy and let you leave with your life. That was a mistake, one which I mean to correct.
Surge, Majil,
Stay back. Fuck. We're going into battle mode, guys. We're going into fucking battle mode. Shit's gonna hit the fan. Kids took a step forward, glaring at Lynx, her gaze unflinching.
This ends here and now. You'll pay for what you've done. You'll pay for what you've done to Luca. What? What? Hold the fucking phone. Luke? What?
Oh my fucking god. Kid is the baby. Kid is the baby with the fucking amulet. At the end of that just fucking confirms it. Oh my god, it confirmed it. Kid is the baby at the end of Chrono Trigger that Luca takes in. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Oh, this shit just got fucking good. Oh man. Oh, this hits so hard. Oh shit, we're probably in a battle. With a scream, Kid leapt into the air like Kid leapt into the air like a bird taking flight. Her foot lashed out in a scything kick aimed straight to the side of Lynx's head. But there was no contact, where Lynx had been mere moments before. Now there was only empty space. Kid landed and immediately launched herself back into the air, putting full force into her momentum into another kick. This time, Lynx leaned back, letting Kid's foot swing past only a hair's breadth from his nose. And then it was Lynx's turn. He lashed out with his saber, carving an arc through the air in front of him. Kid was ready for him, however, and had already jumped back to a safe distance. The two glared at each other, mere footsteps apart. At least you had the decency to prepare a little better than last time, Lynx purred. A red line appeared on Kid's cheek, slowly coalescing into a drop of blood. Kid! In a flash, she launched herself into yet another attack. Lynx dodged aside, and then made to strike her with the hilt of his saber. Kid moved awkwardly to avoid the attack, losing her footing. And then Lynx was on her like a bird of prey before she could fully recover. There was a gasp and a cough as Lynx dove his knee into the pit of her stomach and Kid collapsed. Holy shit. Oh, thank you for the clip. Can I just say though, why the fuck is Majil and Serge not actually fighting as well? Like, why are they actually staying out of that? Like, damn. A steady stream of red dripped from her lips. Would that be all, girl? Lynx gave Kid a merciless kick to the side, sending her flying. She landed on a pile of rubble, her body rolling until she hit a large stone pillar, and there she lay, lifelessly still. Kid? Kid! I screamed her name as I charged towards Lynx. But Majil was there already. He flew through the darkness apart of the shadows, before crashing down on Lynx like a bolt from the blue. Lynx jumped back, and countless threads of light flew from his fingertips towards Majil. With a droning hum, the threads of light surrounded Majil, crossing one over another. They spread to form a lattice of light that gave off a blinding glare and trapped Majil where he stood. What is this? Majil staggered and groaned, attempting to shield his eyes with his hands. Simple enough spell, my shadowy friend, for those inclined to learn it, and of which, sadly for you, leaves no darkness in which to hide. Lynx leered at Majil with a venomous grin. You've been quite the thorn in my side. I've let you live long enough to regret it. Majil struggled and groaned. I had to do something. Kid Majil needed me, but what was I gonna do? Challenge Link, run to Majil, ran to Kid. I ran over to where she lay. She was flat out, still collapsed where she had fallen, and blood still ran from her mouth. Kid, say something! I crouched down next to her, glancing her a face in the panic. She groaned, and then she began to stir, her face twisted with pain. Serge! It's okay, kid. I'm here. How touching. Though I would be more concerned about my own well-being if I were you. The voice came from behind me. It felt as though ice water had poured down my neck. I jumped to my feet and turned. Lynx was looking down at me with a cold and motionless stare. Any friend of Kid's is certainly no friend of mine. Forgive me, I cannot permit you to leave this place alive. Before I realized it, his hand had shot out towards me. His claw-like fingers clamped around my throat. Oh, fuck. I couldn't breathe. That's not a good thing. I need air. Air is a good thing. Tightening his grip, Lynx lifted me boldly until my feet were dangling in the air. I could feel his talons mercilessly digging deeper and deeper into my neck. Panic filled my mind. Look, kid, see your friend. See him suffer. This is your doing. This is your hand around his neck. Kid's breathing was ragged, and blood still dripped from her lips. Opening an eye, she groggily raised her head. But she couldn't get up. She didn't have the strength. Serge! Give me the time ache! Do you even know what that is? I suspect not. Think of it as a concentrated pocket of space. With the frozen flame and the time egg in hand, one can bend the fabric of space and time and rewrite the past. There are errors I mean to correct. Mistakes in the past that must be set right. Lynx's narrow, emotionless eyes returned to my face. How long before he perishes, I wonder? I struggled to breathe, but I could only make choking sounds. Kid screamed my name. Decide! Will you watch this boy die or relent? Does his life mean nothing to you? I can't! She balled her hands into fists and dropped her gaze. Ha! Exactly. Dude, you get it. My vision started to fade. And then I heard her voice as she struggled to speak through the pain. I'm sorry, Serge, but I swore I'd sacrifice anything to stop Lynx. Yeah, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. It was all I could do to force the words out past Lynx's icy grip. Yeah, no, we're just gonna let Serge die. Beta Serge can die. I was starting to black out. Was this really how it was gonna end? For crying out loud, fine! You win. Here, have your damn rock. Lynx's grip on my throat loose. Excuse you. Bitch, what the fuck did you just do? What the fuck did you just do? I told you to keep their rock, and you gave it to fucking Lynx? Bitch, you had one job. You had one fucking job. What the hell are you on? Goddamn glue? You had one job. One. Son of a bitch. Groaning with pain, Kid reached a shaky hand into her shirt. I knew you'd come around in the end. Lynx threw my body to the ground and then walked over towards her. Just shut up and take it, you bastard! It's all you deserve. And with all the strength she could muster, Kid lashed out at Lynx with her right hand. He leapt back in a desperate attempt to evade the blow, but it was too late. Kid's nail, sharp as a cat's claw, raked mercilessly into his face. Lynx roared with pain. He staggered, clutching his left eye. Blood oozed through the gaps in his fingers. You wretched little chit of a girl! Lynx stood awkwardly, still clutching the wound of his face. The fingers of his free hand arced into furious talons as he walked back towards Kid, who still lay on the ground. I will kill you all! He kicked her hard, concentrating all his wrath and venom into the blow. Kid gasped as the wind was knocked out of her, yet more blood ran from her mouth as her body rolled across the floor. Kid! I yelled hoarsely, clutching my burning throat with one hand. Lynx turned his head slowly to look at me, one eye fixing on me coldly as it came into view. He took a step towards me. Yes, perhaps it would be better to start with you, my dear Kid. Rest assured that your friend's death will be a most elaborate and painful one. You will truly know what it means to suffer, boy. I will put you through the same suffering as I did that Luca woman. Oh, no, fuck you. You keep her goddamn name out of your mouth, okay? I am willing to just fucking, Will Smith your ass and backhand you across the room. You keep that woman's name out of your filthy fucking mouth. Kid's body stirred with shock and horror. Her eyes slowly opened, fixing on Link. They were wild eyes, stained with the blood that had poured from her brow. Gritting her teeth, she staggered to her feet. Lynx! And then an explosion of light burst forth from the frozen flame. Wait, the flame's reacting to her? Another light began to form from somewhere near Kid's chest, resonating with the light of the frozen flame. The twin lights intertwined, twirling slowly upward, and as it rose, the golden spiral spread. No, this can't be! Lynx stood motionless, transfixed by the spectacle. Was this the Timex power? Kid screamed as a raising blaze of light engulfed her. Fuck you, don't play this music. This music hits me too sentimentally. I'll never let you do it again. I'll never let you steal from me again. Bathed in the glow, her body shook. Blood-red tears dripped from her eyes as they took on a distant look. And then she collapsed to the ground as if all the life had gone out of her. I heard a voice. It was quiet and still like the evening. It has come to pass. Kid is retracing her lost memories back through time, back to the lost kingdom. It was through the power, her power, that the kingdom fell, that it was swallowed in the all-encompassing vortex of time. It was her grief. She wished to disappear, her past, her future. She wanted it all to sink into the void, to be lost in the seething whirl of time. Hold it. Hold the fucking phone. Shala? Are they talking about Shala? They cannot be talking about Shala. Shala is not related to Kid. Is Shala related to Kid? Shala better not be related to Kid. Jesus Christ. Nobody spoil me on this, okay? Damn. Oh my god. She despised what she had done. She closed herself off from all she saw and heard and cursed her very existence. But the stone wished for her to live. The hands of her clock were rewound. Her memories unraveled. The stone gave her a chance to begin again. The stone had both the power and the will to bring all this about. Sinking through the sea of time, she drifted here, a mere baby, her memories a blank slate. The time egg shattered, its fragments running down on the world, becoming shards of sorrow and anguish. The world around us drifted into pieces. It swallowed us, engulfed us. We were consumed, locked into the void. And then a girl's scream echoed in the darkness. That voice, was it Kid? It sounded just like... No, this is all wrong. The black vortex, it surrounds us. No, stop!
Ooh, this is not good.
Oh, hello, this is pretty.
Where am I? I'm gonna be a door. Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur. Holy shit, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I couldn't fucking help it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Jesus Christ, that was funny. I just see a dinosaur and it pops in my head. I'm a dork. I'm a fucking dork. Oh my god. I'm gonna shut up and continue now. I've lost everything. And now I can but wander. The world drifts and time is a blur. There's only an endless, unknowable sea. This is where time begins and ends. This is where all life finds peace. I see myself as a baby, crying next to my mother, an exhausted yet proud look upon her face. I see myself aged and wizened, waiting to succumb to death's embrace with a smile. I see countless incarnations of myself, walking time's intricate corridors as ghosts. This is the place where countless worlds overlap, and infinite dreams play out. If only I could rest here for eternity. If only I could free myself of all my burdens and sleep here, in the sea of dreams. I'm not clicking anything, this is auto-scrolling, but I hear it calling me. I hear the song. Oh, dude. No, don't play this one. Kid, please. Can you hear me? Kid! Kid, say something. Kid, you gotta stay with me. Who's that? Who's calling me? Oh wait, am I actually a kid right now? Fuck. It's hard to tell. They should have different colored text. Somebody needs to mod this so that it has colored text so I know who the fuck is talking. Yeah, this is definitely planting those seeds. And I mean, I played Chrono Cross as one of the first games I ever played in my life, so I'm used to existential bullshit. It's probably why I watch really messed up. Yeah, damn, this is good. Serge, where am I? Kid, you're awake! I heard a song. It was beautiful. It was that song that Luca loved. Kid closed her eyes, and her face glowed with a warm smile. I'll never forget that song. It makes me want to cry whenever I hear it. I'm just glad you're back. It felt like I was losing you, like you were going somewhere far, far away. Before I knew it, I was humming the song for you. I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but I wrote it when I first started out as a musician. Aww. Oh my god. Okay, so this is why they made Serge a musician. Aww. Okay, this hurts my heart. This hurts my heart. Even if Disc 2 is incomplete, maybe one of these days you can play Xenogears, the first project of the Chrono Cross team. Ooh. That does sound good, but I have like a fuck ton of shit on the backlog right now. So I have to get through the backlog first, and I want to let some people like vote for the next things. But like, yeah, that does eventually sound good. I have been curious. I'm not into mechs and robots, and I know that Xenogears does have some mechs and robots, but like, you know, yeah, definitely. Oh my god, you...
Darv, you did a clip of me singing. It wasn't even good singing. You dork.
Kid gave a gentle nod.
It was you. You were the one who called me back. That was you calling my name. Thanks, Serge. It's okay. It's okay now.
Cross, and then Bendy Dark Revival, and then after that is Monster Hunter World.
I'm back.
Suddenly, she gasped with pain. Lynx's saber had plunged deep into her right shoulder. And towering over us was Lynx himself. Oh, fuck. Like, dude, can you not? Or maybe get a different pose? I told you, kid. I told you I would kill you. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of crazy. She had no strength left to fight. What was I gonna do? I'm gonna just tackle this fucker. Damn you! I charged toward it with all the strength I have left. Fuck yeah, we're just gonna tackle this giant cat man. That's quite enough, brat! Lynx lashed out at me with his saber. I staggered and collapsed to the ground. But what about Kid? Was she okay? I looked desperately around to find her, my eyes clouded with pain. Alas, your time has come! He raised his saber high, preparing to strike. Enough! Oh, I think that's Majil. Stunned, we looked towards the intruder. You? Who is you? Who be you? The old lady? The fucking old lady came for us, holy shit. I'm sorry, you're how far into it? Jesus Christ, I am never going to finish that game, am I? Oh my fucking god. It's a good thing I really like the game. How has she made it all the way down here? Lady Vera! And what have we done to bring poor Magister General running, I wonder? He growled.
It's been far too long, Lord Lynx. Pity I seem not to have caught you at your best.
The crone met Lynx's mad stare head on.
I will take the frozen flame. After all, it seems you two have been quite unable to decide which of you should have it.
Okay, Saramaru, I'm gonna ask you for no spoilers. I don't know what, Fatalis is. I don't know what that is, man. I got to the murder pickle and that was it. Okay, cool. This is gonna be interesting. She raised a hand and armed soldiers poured into the room. So the old lady was actually like, yeah, murder pickle. It's called a devil show. But its ass end looks like a giant pickle. Majil lifted Kid to her feet. This seems like a good time to leave. Lynx snarled. You'll regret this, witch. He kicked off on the floor, and his body rose into the air. Then he turned his venomous gaze onto us. And you, Kid, you'll pay for this with your life soon enough. You will never be safe from me. With that, he disappeared like a puff of smoke. The crone lingered for a moment, her eyes resting on us.
Kid, if you wish to try to steal the frozen flame again, you are more than welcome to try any time you please. We'll be waiting. But you'll have to get out of here alive first.
The soldiers drew their weapon and fell upon it. Oh, come on, old lady. You were cool. Why you do this? Darkness, heed my call. With Kid slumped against him, Majil spread his arms and drew a sigil in the air. Hurry, Serge! This way! I grabbed onto him and we plunged into blackness. Yeah, it is a threat. God damn. Are we talking about the old lady or the murder pickle? Thanks to Majil's magic, we managed to escape the manor alive. But the light of torches dotted the forest. We could hear soldiers calling to one another. We stopped briefly in the darkness of the woods, and Kid leaned heavily on a tree, desperately trying to quiet her ragged breathing. Just the pickle is harmless. Fuck you, the pickle is not harmless. I got my ass kicked by that fucking pickle. But yeah, the old lady was like fucking scary, to be honest. Like, goddamn. Why'd you do that, old lady? You were nice before. It was a terrible wound she'd suffered, and it seemed to be taking its toll. Are you okay, kid?
Yeah, don't worry about me, mate.
We're surrounded. It won't be long before they find us, said Majil, his eyes cautiously scanning the area. Kid raised her head to look at me.
It's me and Medill they want. Get out of here, Serge. It's us they want, not you.
What are you saying? I'm not leaving you here. Look at you. You can barely stand.
Nothing I can't handle, and besides, I got Medill with me.
Leo, I never officially made it to Iceport. So no spoilers. Also, fuck you, Devil Show's hard.
If they catch you with us, they won't go easy on you.
But I remembered everything.
I remembered another me. A me from a long time ago.
Slowly, Kid averted her gaze, looking up at the night sky.
I have to go.
The stars reflected in her eyes, and suddenly she looked like nothing more than an ordinary young girl, with a sad, distant expression on her face. Kid?
Don't worry, Serge. I'm okay. We'll meet again.
Kid smiled.
We'll meet again. Somewhere. Someday. Some time. Promise.
Her eyes closed gently.
I didn't manage to nick the frozen flame in the end. And I lost the time back too. Only thing I had left of Lucas. But it's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. There's something inside me that's done shiner than any stupid jewel. Most important thing in the world.
She opened her eyes and fixed them on me. I could have lost myself in the depths forever. Oh, please, just fucking kiss her already, Serge. We all know you simping harder than a Tumblr girl. Like a Tumblr sexy man. You know what I'm talking about. Like, smooch the bitch. Goddamn.
No one could take it from me. Not for as long as I live.
There was nothing else in the world I wanted but this. I doubt I'd ever want anything again. I only wanted this moment. All the clocks in the world could stop right then and there for all I'd cared. And that was exactly what I wished for as I gazed at her.
Goodbye, Serge. Thanks.
She looked down and then turned away and disappeared into the darkness of the night. Would I ever see her again? Kid!
Don't follow me, Serge. Please, just don't.
I strained to try and catch a glimpse of her as the last traces of her shadow vanished towards a place I might never reach again. Oh, kid! I leaped to my feet, meaning to chase after her, but a shadow soon blocked my path. Majil! Without saying a word, he slowly shook his head. Behind the mask, I saw a sadness in his eyes. And then the shadow withdrew, and he melted into the darkness. Majil? Kid? Wait, don't leave me! I screamed into the night, but there was no reply. The black silence swallowed my cries. Fuck. Ooh, gorgeous shot. Kid! Kid! Damn. Oh, we are back to a book. And we are back to the table. And doesn't that look exactly like the book that... Oh, and so ends another tale. Perhaps one day I'll see Kid, Majil, and Riddell again. One day. Somewhere at another time. In another world. Perhaps none of us will even realize it. But that's a story for another day. For now, I must put down my pen. Yeah, honestly, like, shit, I've never read an audiobook before, so that was goddamn interesting. Also, the fact that they are opening and closing on a book, they do the same fucking shit in Chrono Cross. I closed my grandfather's diary. So this is fucking Serge's diary, oh my god. And then from downstairs, I heard my mother calling, "Do you hear me? Your friend's here!" Nimble footsteps charged up the stairs, the door flew open, and in tumbled a young girl, a girl who seemed somehow familiar.
Hey, Serge.
It's a beautiful day for adventuring. I found a rundown old manor off in the woods to the north. You want to go exploring? Come on, put the book down and let's go. Surge. Wait. Same name? What?
What? What? What? What? What?
Bleh. Oh, you better show us that photo. It better be high definition. It's not high definition, is it? Please be high definition. You're not gonna be high definition. It's actually high definition. Just take a screenshot while I can, because that's fucking pretty. Wait. Did I just finish the entire fucking thing in 3 hours? I did, didn't I? Holy shit! What just happened? Fuck, now I need to set up for all the goddamn assets for the next stream. I don't think I've ever read that much bloody text in my entire life. That was a lot of fucking text. I just realized I didn't even know how to save. I probably would have lost all my progress not knowing how to save the game. Yeah, it's that was definitely the most chill game I've ever played in my life, seeing as though all I did was press the down button on my the down button and the A button, like that's all that happened. Oh, and maybe the up button too. Yeah, wow. I don't think I've ever done a visual novel or an audiobook before. That was definitely interesting. That being said, this is actually a fucking great bridge between the events of Chrono Trigger and the events of Chrono Cross. Because, like, wow. I'm really glad that they managed to extract the old Satellaview thing and shove it into the Radical Dreamer edition. I'm gonna warn you guys right now, though. Cross is a fucking big game, so we are gonna be in Cross for a hot minute. Oh, it gets prettier. Nice. Yeah, we can survive. Wait, 7? Hold it. What do you mean by 7? Is there 7 endings to Radical Dreamers? There better not be 7 fucking endings. It's restarting. What the fuck? Well, I think it's safe to say that, we have done it. No, it's not 7 chapters. There's just 7 endings to it. I guess if you, like, really suck at the game and die at different parts. Either way, damn, what a freaking cool stream. I am very glad that we did this. I'm going to shove it on the BRB screen and see if there's anybody cool that we can raid. The music is not going to play. Of course it's not going to play. Why wouldn't it play? That would be nice. Let's see. What do we have? If you guys are interested, Coin Chaser is doing another stream of the Time Spinner game, like last week. Unfortunately, that's the only one we could raid. So it's either raid to Time Spinner or close out. Up to you guys. What are we doing? Time Spinner it is. Oh. And can we get a few boofs in the chat for Arlo before we go over in the raid? Holy shit. What good timing. Oh, that's hilarious. Yes, the boofs in the chat for Arlo. Ah, good timing, Arlo. Like, really. Alright. And here we go. We are going to raid. Ooh, yes, please do. Looking forward to it. Alright, you guys have fun. Toodles!